What the hickety heck? Justin, I'm streaming only to you tonight. Yippee! Can you hear Pradeep scratching his poop box back there? It's 3 a.m. Oh, where you're at? Are you in the UK or some shit? I thought you were... Oh yeah, you were in Ireland or some absolute trite. Oh, Spain. You're visiting... Who are you visiting? I can see it in my mind's eye. Some sort of boy. Your uncle's funeral, okay. I'm sorry. Maybe I was seeing a younger version of him. Sorry. God bless him, though. I'm sure he lived a good life. Do you get to say anything at it? They notified you? Let's fucking go, bro. Where the extra ghost chicks at? Where are they? Ready for night shift stream. You have the best scary stories ever. Thank you, Kaylin. Thank you, guys. Literally the earliest I've been to one of your streams. Yeah, I think I was... if you look at my Instagram story at letsread.official, I pulled an Umbreon, but it's the one from Prismatic where it's like looking at the moon. And that was just like insane. So like in the span of like 2 weeks, I pulled the Charizard 151, the Dragonite from Ascending Heroes, and now the Umbreon from Prismatic. And I'm just like low-key freaking out. Hey, Chrisella, welcome back to the Buttersock Cult. Thank you so much. But yeah, guys, thanks for being here. You ever tried homemade turkey gravy? Always. Always, always. Well, what do you put in it? What do you do for your turkey gravy? Just out of curiosities. Playing Roblox. Nice. What are you playing on Roblox? 99 Nights in the Forest with PewDiePie. With Sniper Wolf. She's absolutely screaming. Joel's the biggest Pokemon scalper in the Midwest. He buys out Target, then resells them for 10 times MSRP. This is actually true. I usually show up to Target wearing my Antifa gear, my fingerless gloves that have little spikes on the knuckles, you know, like a pirate mask, but also my COVID mask so I don't get sick as I'm beating up little kids for the collectible card game. Thank you, Cookie Dough Boy. Good to see you. Headed home from Oklahoma City with friends. Have you in the AirPods. We'll get ready to have your ears blown out. Scary shawarma kiosk. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Click like, click share. We're going to be recording some actual night shift stories tonight. I must have said that like 3 times on the live stream, but this time it's for real. This time it's serious. We are not making a mistake tonight. Oh, so what do you think of these tunes? Kind of sick, huh? Let me link them for you. This Ambient Wizard and Jungle Wizard channel, it's like, it keeps recommending me them, but every one of the songs are bangers. And I'm like curious if they actually make them. Oh wait, let's see. No, yeah, there's no list of, well, it says it's a mix, so I feel like it's got to be a few different people, right? Anyone have a good recipe for tuna salad? Oh, dude, you'll figure that out real quick. You should try making it with no mayonnaise. Just straight guacamole and tuna with some scallions. But yeah, what did you guys do today? Anything freaking cool? Anything way more exciting than my day today? When I tell stories off Reddit, my friends told me that that's copyright because you do it. Well, you just had to ask them permission. But man, dude, I'm actually kind of nervous, like telling people about starting like a scary narration reading channel, because it genuinely seems like even the channels that have like there's a bunch of channels on YouTube where they have like 50,000 subscribers. They've already been monetized, and then their channels are getting demonetized because of like, you know, I guess repetitious content, or I don't know, something that doesn't really make much sense, and like there's no clear answer on. Once again, very similar to the adpocalypse era. So if you're going to be doing anything, I would definitively say, if you feel comfortable doing it, you might have to put yourself like on camera and have like yourself as like the primary B-roll or primary video, just because I don't know how to grow, lol. I thought it was so funny, like 2 channels last time. Oh shit, oh fuck, David Monroe, thank you for the 25, brother, appreciate you. What days do I stream? I stream every Sunday and Wednesday, so this would be Wednesday stream for Thursday video. Monday and Thursdays we release videos. Also got a podcast, release every Tuesday on there. If you want to check out the podcast, they're longer, which is just the scary stories, but like sounds better over there. Listen to some literature while I work on some drawing perfect combo. Hell yeah. What are you drawing? David, thank you again, man. Very kind. Thank you so much. YouTube has recently gone after 2 of the narrators I listen to regularly. Yeah, which ones was it? Because I heard it from like, yeah, Jay Nightmares, and then Derek Weber had mentioned about getting demonetized. I just wondered to what size would, you know, like at what is their cutoff? Like is it about cutting costs or something like that? Like it's very weird. I wish there was like a clear answer. Husband likes guacamole with his tuna sub. That does sound yummy. Imagine drizzling a little bit of honey on the top of your tuna. Just a little bit, maybe even a spicy version. Just think about it real quick. Some abstract ink pen ADHD style wackiness. That's cool. I always really enjoyed those. You probably like the show Super Jail. Did you ever see Super Jail? It's kind of like Mad Magazine, sort of absurd, nightmarish violence, you know, style show. Very similar to like Mad Magazine or something. But I feel like if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. How long do you think you'll be reading stories on YouTube for? Honestly, I guess until I'm dead, you know? That could be tomorrow, that could be 150 years from now, whenever they make me get a chip that extends my life. What DAW do you record or edit voices on? So, I mean, right now what you're hearing me through the stream is just like a, you know, microphone, compressor microphone into an XLR cord, into a mixer, right, into the computer. But then what I record into is an H4n Pro, so it's literally just like a field recorder. So it's not even necessarily like a good DAW. It just like it's got its own built-in thing, and it just seems to work for me. Also, another couple minutes we'll kick these stories off, guys. Don't you worry. Thanks for being here. If there's something you want to talk about specifically, just bring it up anytime throughout the whole stream. I'll talk about it because I don't actually want to work, which is what reading is, right? My job? No thanks. If YouTube said you had to show your face or no more channel, would you do it? Man, that would be a lot. That would be like a lot to ask, and it would like hurt, you know? Genuinely, I think that would be like a pretty bad PR move on their part to like force the, you know, anonymity of people. Because I mean, they already have your information via your tax stuff, so if they really wanted to show that you're, well, they can definitively find it. What's your opinion on the original Jurassic Park? I think Jurassic Park Original and then Jurassic Park Lost World were the two best Jurassic Parks. Beyond that, I would still say they're fun to watch, you know, especially if you're like young, you know, a kid. But I don't know, the first one and the second one were just so straight up goatered. What got me into telling stories? I just wanted to try something, you know, and this seemed like it was, you know, something that not a lot of people did, but it turned out a lot of people did do it. Sheena Bud, thank you for the 2. Are you live streaming for your birthday this year? Yeah, that's June 4. Let's see. That's going to be on a Thursday, yeah, so June 3rd. I could definitely do that. Live stream the night before my actual birthday. What's up, Timmy? Two turnt inside out. Jurassic Park 3 was dope too. It was good. It was just a lot more contained. I really loved the first two because they just felt like they were like epic. You know what I mean? Like epoch. Tomorrow full moon, homie. You ready? Is it? I feel like I looked at the moon recently. I didn't feel like I was getting there that fast. Yeah, the Spinosaurus is cool. It just felt like the entire movie was filmed on like a set, which I'm sure most of the new ones are too, but it just felt like it was missing that certain sense of expansive adventure that like especially 1 and 2 had. Just wear a synthetic mask if it comes to that. That would be kind of funny. Get like a really realistic CIA mask and make myself look like Danny DeVito and Wesley Snipes mixed together. AI has been the top talk of it lately. Some voice actors have went on strike to protest protection for their voices for their defense, something I read about lately. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's just unfortunate. It's like, it really seems like if you want to protect yourself and maximize your profits going forward, you have to like get into the realm of like independent content creation and promote yourself that way or whatever. I've seen some really talented voice actors who just like have good big channels as well. Excuse me, you just had to be like as flexible as possible and figure out how to like make those tools work for you while, you know, not getting usurped by the beast. Thank you for the blessings. Alright, dudes. Who's ready to kick this off? Once again, click like, click share, click all that good stuff. Thanks for being here, guys. This song is cool, though. We should probably listen to it for, like, just a little bit more before we kick it off. This is amazing, actually. I'll link it one more time for you guys. All right. Let's do it. Oh, weeding time. You smoke weed, Lynn? Oh, Lynn, did you hear? Did you see my Instagram story? Go look at my Instagram story and have your mind blown. Who's Let's Readin'? 'Tis I. I am Let's Readin'. I am reading Let's style. It's reading time. Hi, Joel. I grew up in Britain, although my parents are French. You'd never know it though, because I have the most posh, London-sounding accent that a French girl could ever have. This might be because of the school that I went to, or because I left school in college and I took some time out before university to work as an air hostess. I loved that job and ended up staying in the air for 5 years. Not literally, of course, but you get what I mean. I left sixth form college in 1997, and the story that I'm about to share with you took place in 1999. And this was a couple of years before, everything changed with the whole... Oh. Is this the spring background? It still is, yeah. We can hopefully update it at some point here. Yeah, Lynn, isn't that insane? I don't know how much that Umbreon's worth, but I think it's like 1,600. It's like freaking crazy. I know, 3 SIRs in 2 weeks. And it's always when I least expect it. It's like whenever I just disconnect or even care or even expect to pull anything. And then it just sort of appears out of nowhere. It's always the second to last card. One thing I really want to do is pull a God Pack. I mean, I know that's obvious, right? But a God Pack would just be absolutely astounding. Different background every live. I wish I had enough. 1,600 for an Umbreon. Well, for the specific one from the prismatic. And then there's another one, I think, from another set that's Umbreon looking up at the moon from the side angle. And that one's even more valuable. What's up, Seeing Red? How we doing? Do you get single packs? No, I got it from this really random one that this, trading card store had. It was basically a prismatic mystery pack of sorts. I don't know. It's kind of random. This was a couple of years before, everything changed with the planes, and security was very different back then. Things were a lot more lax, and it was much easier to get up to high hijinks. Okay. Things were a lot more lax, and it was much easier to get up to high hijinks. For one thing, you could still join the Mile High Club without too much trouble. Not that I ever did that, of course. I honestly would never. Now, I shouldn't joke about that kind of thing, considering the story that I'm about to share with you. Or joke about, really. Or, what the fuck? Alright, I might just throw some shit into grammar editor. I just can't. I can't keep up with people's, stream of thought writing sometimes, you know what I mean? I see where they're coming from for it, but it's when there's a lot of, I've said this a million times, but when there's, 10 million pauses and all this kind of shit, put it in the clanker machine, yeah. It's also easier to look at that because it's dark mode. Can I get a Hoya? Put it in a good protective sleeve. You got it. Right in the foreskin. How's my neck going? It's good. It is good. Don't you have an editor? I do, but I think they still maintain, they can only edit so much, and I think they maintain, the people's stream of consciousness style writing without having to put extensive time into a story to, completely rewrite it, so at least with this, I can just make it a lot more, I don't know, phonetically legible, if that makes sense, made for reading in a narration format. I shouldn't joke about that kind of thing, considering the story that I'm about to share with you, or joke about anything, really. So this story took place on the first ever Redeye flight that I was working. I'm sure everyone knows what a Redeye flight is by this point, but if by some small chance you don't, it's a flight, generally a shorter one, that takes place at night and often involves the passengers sleeping for the duration. If you take the Redeye, you're meant to stay quiet, calm, and well-behaved. I can't remember if kids were flat out banned from our Redeye flights, but I don't ever remember any kids or babies on the handful that I worked. Now this was 27 years ago, so bear with me. I've not worked out as an air hostess. I've not worked as an air hostess for almost as long, and I haven't thought about planes in a long time. From what I can recall, the plane, run by some long bankrupt airline that you probably never heard of, was divided into two sections. The front section, closer to the cockpit, was for passengers who wanted to stay quiet and chill but weren't intending to sleep. It was the cheaper option and usually the busier one. And in the back of the plane, in the reverse of the usual, If someone sends in a terribly written story, even with cuss words and bad grammar, how do you correct that for reading? I mean, I just kind of go based off of whatever the editors kind of throw at me. I mean, sometimes that stuff can be fixed to an extent. But even after I've thrown it through the AI here, it's like still very like stream of conscious-esque, if that makes sense. Where it's like a lot of like side topics in the midst of a sentence. So it's like, then the back of the plane, and here's a comma, in reverse of the usual, comma, was sort of the first class section, hyphen, except this was for the people who wanted or needed to sleep, comma, so it was filled with bed seats. You know what I mean? Like, that's quite a few, like, da-da-da, da-da-da, ba-da-da-ba-da, da-ba-da-da-da-ba-da. You know what I mean? And it's, like, really hard to anticipate people's ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-das and the side notes of stuff. Almost like you're writing in, like it's, I don't know. It's like you gotta check your notes. Anyways. Need a new editor. I think we're good for right now. Did you hear about the other narration channels getting demonetized the last few days? I did, yeah. I've been talking to some of them, and they said they're talking to some people, but it's just like, I don't know, I just feel so bad. Like, some of them say that they'll be like escalated to, you know, a higher ticket, right? And then it gets to that higher ticket, and then it just gets automatically denied. And then they have to wait 90 days before they can reapply for monetization again. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. You know, because it's nothing in particular. It's just, and it's not like really even necessarily like a mistake that's been explained by anybody big, you know? Like, this would be one of those things that I feel like somebody like Charlie from Moist Critical rather, like, I feel like he could address this and at least get eyes on it so people know what's going on. But I feel like they're mistaking some of these smaller narration channels, even though they have like 50,000 subscribers, with like AI. But like, how do you know, differentiate that if not like a mistake made by a bot? Man, I sneezed one fucking time and my like nose is just all clogged. Then the back of the plane. Oh my god, I can't read. Then the back of the plane, in reverse of the usual, was sort of the first class section, except this was for people who wanted or needed to sleep, so it was filled with bed seats. I was working up front, which suited me just fine because I didn't want to tiptoe around snoring old businessmen. And the sleeping area always smelled like farts too, so that was lovely. A Redeye typically doesn't have as many flight attendants as a regular flight, or at least it didn't back then. I think there were just 3 of us on that flight, although I could be dismembering. Man, I'm not warmed up at all. Charlie is still making videos. No, I didn't say he wasn't making videos. I was saying he needs to make a video on, like, shit getting demonetized to bring attention to it. What is going on with YouTube lately in demonetizing channels? It's kind of a niches are getting struck. All kinds of niches. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could probably find a pattern if you looked at it, because I had a general curiosity where it's like, say a channel only makes YouTube like, I don't know, hypothetically, less than $1,000 a month in like revenue, right? Or rather, not necessarily that it makes it that, but that they have to pay it out. Now, they can still run ads technically on any video they want on their platform, regardless of whether or not the creator gets any, you know, payment for that. because that's now like part of their terms of services, right? So technically, if they're trying to like cut costs without bringing any sort of like direct attention to it, they could theoretically, and I'm not saying they are at all, but they could theoretically demonetize certain channels, continue to run ads on a large swath of channels, and therefore statistically cut down on overall spending and costs to like maintain the higher, more like basically maintain the value that they give to their higher channels, but also maintain their income on the whole without losing anything. Did you hear about Sony new DRM method? No, what's that about? Not only did they demonetize him, they're also withholding all of his monthly money. Damn. Yeah, what the fuck? That's crazy. So I assume they probably have a few thousand just like sitting, waiting around. It's just strange, because like who do you communicate with other than like making a stink on Twitter and getting like actual human eyes on something? I think there were just 3 of us on that flight, although I could be misremembering. I think there were just 3 of us on that flight, although I could be misremembering. What I do remember is that I was up front, obviously, and my dear, queer, gentle friend Adam was working the sleeper section. Now, do you remember H from Steps? I don't know if Steps was big in the United States, so maybe you never knew him. Now, Joel, but if not, what the fuck is this saying, dude? Oh, like this is I guess they're talking to me in this story. Would you be financially okay if you happen to get demonetized? Pray that you don't ever. Sorry if that's too personal. I mean, it wouldn't be good, you know. It would be like because, you know, YouTube's my primary form of income, right? And, you know, so to get demonetized would be just absolutely catastrophic, because that's like suddenly not getting a paycheck or whatever. And then who do you talk to? Like who are you supposed to get incommunicado with, unless you have like, you could jump the line in something, but then at the end of the day, are you really talking to like a human? Are you talking to AI? Is it going to just some like Indian help desk that gets thrown into the Ganges? Like, I just don't. Back to nursing or flip burgers. Oh man, yeah, I don't think I would ever go back to... I literally would probably prefer to flip burgers than fucking ever do nursing again, not to be rude, but I say that, but I don't actually mean that. Do you remember the Carlos character you read for Dark Somnium? Yeah, actually, we just did that I don't think I was Carlos, was I? Was I Kiefer? I thought I was Kiefer. I think with nursing you have to keep your credentials active, yeah, which I have not. And I kind of did that on purpose, so I would never... Even if things did fail, I would just like not go back. I mean, I don't think I would ever have to take an NCLEX test again. That would be absolutely fucking miserable. Fuck all that, dude. I'm not going back. At this point, like, if everything went to hell, pray to God it doesn't, but like, I would be creative enough in my like existence to like figure something the fuck out, you know what I mean? Do you remember H from Steps? I don't know if Steps was that big in the United States, so maybe you never knew him, Joel, but if not, Google him and stick a picture up on screen if you can. Adam looked just like H from Steps, only he was a lot calmer, quieter, and more gentle than H, who always seemed like he had the energy of 50 men. Now make sure you Google H from Steps and not his real name, Ian Watkins, otherwise you might get that nunce from Lost Prophets, another singer who unfortunately shared a name. Now, he did some really, really terrible things, and you should do a true crime story about him one day, actually. That'd be actually very interesting. He was shanked in prison recently, too. Died. What a tragedy. Now, anyways, Adam was like a really calm and gentle H from Steps, and I promise this is important eventually. Partly it's important because the villain of this story, who we'll call Ian, looked kind of like the Lost Prophets guy. Although he wasn't really famous at the time, and we didn't know that he was a major criminal or anything, so maybe I'm just misremembering again. Now, I call him Ian anyway because nearly every guy called Ian I've ever met was an actual prick. And if you get me, except for my cousin... Jesus Christ. What the fuck is this saying, bro? Phil Rubel, thank you for the 20. Hashtag never demonetize Joel. Exactly. Otherwise, I'll go out in the streets. I'll be one of those guys that sits at, like, the intersections of, like, lights. And instead of saying, like, you know, ex-veteran need help for hotel or something on their, like, cardboard sign, it'll just say, like, hashtag YouTube demonetized me. Just walking back and forth. Okay, can I tell you something about a homeless guy that in that exact scenario that sat at this one fucking light in the... Dude, okay, these guys choose the most absolutely inconvenient fucking spots. The most inconvenient spots to, like, beg for money. Because, like, they'll choose, like, a very highly trafficked place. But it's a type of highly trafficked place that there's just, like, no time to get your money out, hand it to them. He never, you know, they're not even, like, necessarily close to your window to give them shit, right? So, like, I'm driving past this one. He's got his fucking sign up. He's basically just sitting there. And in my mind, he's getting, like, sun cancer all day, just, like, taking, you know, getting burnt by the sun all day, every day with his bald ass head. And so I had... in my mind, I was like, I have this hat, you know, this, like, sort of military hat in the back of my car that's got, like, a flap over the neck so you can, like, you know, kind of tie it up and wear it in, like, you know, Project Desert Storm or whatever they're doing now in Iran. And it's like, and so I went by, and as I drove by, I like tossed it at his feet, and he, like, picked it up. And I could have sworn he's just like, oh, I'll fucking wear this and protect myself from the sun like a normal fucking person. And then every time I've gone back there, even though he's literally a veteran, he has never worn the hat. Presumably he sold it for a Kit Kat bar or whatever he's addicted to. And it just made me sad because I'm like, what the fuck? Wasn't Desert Storm in the 90s? I think they're starting over. Well, there's Jen Sian. I have a flab over my tip. There you go. Don't we all? You lift it so you can pee. I'm addicted to Reese's Cups. He immediately sold my hat for Reese's Pieces. Although he wasn't really famous at the time and we didn't know he was a major criminal, so maybe I'm just misremembering. I'll call him Ian anyways because nearly every guy called Ian I've ever met was an actual prick. And if you get me, except for... Dude, I can't follow what the fuck this is like. I can't. I just can't. I'll call him Ian anyway because nearly every guy called Ian I've ever met was a proper prick, if you get me. Except for my cousin Ian, who's an actual right laugh. So anyways, back to the Redeye. Dude, this is like 2 paragraphs of just like fucking side concepts. So anyways, back to the Redeye. Because I was working at the front of the plane, most of the passengers ate late-night airline food. And that meant that it was my job to collect up the trays with their rubbish on them. Now I did this on autopilot. Pun intended, sticking them on my trolley with a little "thank you, sir," or "thank you, ma'am," or "thank you, lovely," if they were some old biddy who was so wrinkled that they could have been a lad or a lass, or how do I put this tactfully, someone who was very, very large and made it impossible to tell their gender. Now anyways, you had to be really careful about that back then. Christ, I mean, I feel bad for air hostesses in the 2020s. And I bet there had to have been some actual moments where a 20-year-old sweetheart had called a bearded passenger sir and been chewed out for not recognizing that they were a pretty princess. No, I shouldn't have Dude, what the fuck? Oh my god, I hate this. I don't actually hate this, but I just hate, like, I hate this. I hate the fact that this, like, has 9,000, just, like, get to the fucking point. It's like someone smelling their own fucking farts over and over again when they write. Oh, here's one. Oh, here's one. Oh, here's one. Oh, Christ, I shouldn't have had those last couple of glasses of wine before writing you this email. Now, anyways, I got my trolley full of trays and crap to the center of the plane and began chucking away the plastic boxes that the dinner had come in. And that's when I noticed it. A napkin with writing scrawled across the whole thing. "I know what you did on that plane," they'd written. And then a crude picture of what was definitely supposed to be me because, well, I could just tell, okay? Now, there had only been about 7 or 8 passengers who'd had dinner, so the note couldn't have come from too many people. I don't know why I even cared, because I hadn't done anything on any plane by that point, but the drawing had been very rude and insulting, and I was young, so I guess I felt kind of threatened by it. Now, it didn't take long for me to notice that Ian, even in the low, dim lights of the Redeye flight... Oh. Who was Ian again? That's like her friend. Anything from the fucking trolley. We'll take the lot. We'll take the lot. Oi, Huey. Hello, Huey. Would you like something from the trolley? It didn't take long for me to notice Ian, even in the low, dim lights of the Redeye flight. Now, he was a guy about my age with slicked back hair and a goatee that made him look like a proper wrong'un. Now, he kept giving me the evils, looking at me like I was a bit of dog poo on the sole of his shoe, but then also sometimes like he wanted to lick it. Now, I'm going to stop this comparison there because I'm squeaking myself out, but you get the idea. I was disgusted by him, but he still wanted a piece of that, you know? And so I guess he was watching when I was looking, and he saw me looking. And then he started calling me over and asking for things like, "Hey girl, gonna get a bottle of water?" Or, "Got any napkins? I seem to have lost mine." And my favorite, "Way up, whoa lass, can you handle these nuts for me? I haven't had any complimentary airline peanuts yet. So, can you get them?" And that's what he said, word for word, and I swear on the Bible about it. As an air hostess back then, at the dodgy flight company I worked for, you were taught to always smile, be as flirty as possible, and take as much crap from passengers as you could tolerate. Now, I remember once before this third this brown-eyed flight. Anybody up late taking the brown eye? What does squeaking yourself out mean? Oh, squicking yourself, yeah, whatever. I can't keep up with every fucking Britishism in the history of ever. Oi, the Queen came up with this one. Do I like brown eyes? Yeah, I stare directly into them as they fart. I fall into them like a black hole. Homelander stole me loafers. Would I date a British woman? Oh yeah, 100%. But only if she moved to Wales. I remember once, before this red-eye, I got chewed out for telling a passenger off after he touched my butt, and he said it was an accident and apologized, so apparently I was in the wrong for muttering perv under my breath as I walked off. Now anyway, after I gave Ian his nuts, he called me back again about 10 minutes later and said that they really were salty. And then he asked me if I like salty things, which I pointedly ignored. And so he just laughed and said he needed another bottle of water and asked if I could be a good girl and go fetch him one. Of course, I did just that. What I didn't realize was that Ian got right out of his seat and followed me into the middle of the plane, where he kept things like bottled water and complimentary peanuts. The bathrooms were nearby, so at first I wasn't alarmed by the sensation that someone had followed me. Unfortunately, it was Ian, and he wasn't headed to the bathroom. Instead, he grabbed me, pinned me against the wall, and shoved toilet paper in his own butt. Have you done any medical horror? It's been a long time, I feel like. Would I date a Latina? Dude, I would date anybody, man. Every chick on earth is just astoundingly hot. It's like unfair. It's like God created them to be as attractive as possible or something. I don't really get it. What's it like being God's favorite? God's favorite. Good question. Instead, he grabbed me, pinned me against the wall, and shoved some kind of hand towel against my mouth to gag me. And then he leaned in close and started whispering in my ear about what a terrible person I was. He didn't say it exactly like that, obviously. He said some proper vile stuff. Stuff that now, as a grandmother in my early 50s, I'd give a lad a good lick in the dick for. But back then, though, I was just a little wee thing and I was terrified. I started crying almost immediately, and Ian was all cruel and callous, saying that I brought this on myself. And he said I'd betrayed him after what I did on the last flight, and asked how I was okay with throwing away 7 years of our relationship. And that's when I realized that this guy somehow believed that I was someone totally different, specifically his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, who was also apparently an air hostess and had cheated on him on a flight. I didn't know it at the time, but his brain was absolutely fried from a cocktail of alcohol, MDMA, and coke, which I guess explains his temporary insanity. And things escalated when he tried to force me into the bathroom, pushing the hand towel so deep into my throat that I couldn't even try to scream. None of the passengers were turning around, and it was just me and Ian and a curtain separating us from the sleeper section. Now, the best I managed was slapping the wall, trying to do some type of SOS. I got maybe 2 short slaps in before Ian grabbed me between the legs over my skirt and squeezed in a way that made it very clear that he'd do worse if I kept going. And I guess my beloved friend H heard the slapping because suddenly I saw all 5'5". Okay. He's a giant. Absolute monster. A lot of bunny boilers on here. What's a bunny boiler? Oi, we heard you was a bunny boiler. Any new crushes? Nah, dude. I don't think I interact with people consistently enough to have crushes, sadly. Stop crushing people. Just the people that fall into my traps. If you boil bunnies, you make glue, and then you sniff it. Mike Arrington, you were in the hospital, bro? What's going on, man? You alright? I guess my beloved friend H heard the slapping because suddenly I saw all 5'5" of him peeking through the curtain. And then, holy God, he stormed toward Ian. And then, holy God, he yanked him off of me. My gentle, sweet buddy H didn't hesitate. He smashed his forehead into Ian's face, and the crunch of a bone sounded like a gunshot in that silent plane. And then H was yelling that a man was trying to assault his colleague. And H absolutely bodied him. It turned out he was a brown belt in Krav Maga. He floored Ian in seconds, tied him up with plastic ties, and even broke bones in his foot when Ian tried to kick out. Ian spent the next 3 hours hog-tied in an out-of-order bathroom next to a toilet full of poop, and we radioed ahead, and police were waiting at Heathrow. Heathrow, right? We kept him in a pile of poop. And the Krav Maga. That's from the film Fatal Attraction. Oh, the boiling of bunnies. Speaking of animals turning into glue, have you seen the abomination of the new Animal Farm movie they're making? No. But I know for a fact that, if they're in some way attempting to, make any sort of political statement in, a modern movie, you know for a fact it's just going to be the most brain-dead interpretation of the original work. Ew, Joel, do you like Scrapple? PA shite, it's gross. I've had Scrapple, but I'm fairly certain by itself It's just like salty ass, gross, like fat chips. But if you've ever gone to a farm where they like if you're on a field trip or something and they were making scrapple like right there, like fresh from whatever animal's asshole, it's not bad. Heathrow, okay. We radioed ahead, and police were waiting at Heathrow. This Ian guy was arrested immediately, and after that, things changed. I became more cautious, I went to therapy, eventually, and I gained a whole new respect for H. I stayed in the job for another 3 years and then left, I stayed in the job for another 3 years and then left, and life moved on. But I'll never forget the terror of that night, or the man who saved me. Yeah, what is Scrapple? What is Scrapple, specifically? Scrapple is a traditional breakfast meat from the Pennsylvania Dutch region. It's basically a sliceable loaf made from pork scraps and cornmeal and then fried until crispy. So it's made of pork trimmings, cornmeal, seasonings, usually sage, black pepper, sometimes thyme or savory, cooked into a loaf, chilled, and then sliced. You cut into slices and pan fry it. Outside gets crispy and golden, inside stays soft, almost like a savory mush. Interesting. I don't quite remember it like that, but for that, Pennsylvania must lose the war. We'll be nuked by Ohio or Michigan. Man. Okay. Anyways, that was story 1. I'm just gonna throw the next one into AI just because it's easier to look at. It's easier for my Krav Maga vision. Also, I'm fairly certain my eyes are actually getting worse from staring at screens all the time. Like sometimes you go to look at something and it's like kind of blurry till it like focuses and you're like, what the hell? Fix this grammar, don't change the story. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Do I like Sheets? Yeah, Sheets is pretty cool. Are you gonna get the LASIX? I don't think so. I don't think it's like that bad. I was at my buddy's, massage office or whatever for my appointment there, and like he had some readers sitting inside of like a little vase, and I pulled them out just to be like, oh God, please don't let these make my vision better. And then as soon as I brought them near my eyes, they were just like instantly the worst blurriness I'd ever seen. So I was like, okay, thank God they don't work on, like, thankfully my eyes are not that bad yet, but I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard not to stare at your fucking screen your whole life until your eyes melt. Currently reading about a masked man who posts thirst traps. Would you consider this? Joel asking for a friend. Masked man posting thirst traps. Oh, like I put on a mask and then I get naked. I'll have to think about it. We'll have to talk to the council, which is just me laying on my bed butt naked, kicking my feet in the air, texting Pradeep. I've been at -6 most of my life, and I finally have both eyes at -5.75. Is that good? All the other states can catch these hands. Pennsylvania for life fool other states, I fear, is Texas and Florida. I don't even, dude, the bad part is like, I don't even want to like manifest the idea of like state rivalries external from like sports. Because like the idea of like, when I started seeing those memes pop up where it was like, it was like old World War II footage, but saying that it was like Pennsylvania's, Navy fighting Ohio in like Lake Erie or something. There was a part of me that got kind of scared where I'm like, is this some type of like predictive programming shit where it's like, It makes it a meme, but then it's also low-key making me feel subconsciously comfortable with the fact that we'll be at Civil War for soon or whatever. Hey Joe, I'm studying for finals right now and I'm in the final stretch of the year. So happy to listen to this. Hell yeah, dude. You're almost there. Just finish strong, baby. Joe, do you prefer Pats or Genos? I don't know what those are. What is that? Hello, chat. Please hit the button 230 in the chat. 99 likes. Also, Joel was getting a massage from his friend. Hashtag no Diddy. It's okay. He's a professional. He only uses his thumb to find the good spot. What's your ideal story size? Like how many paragraphs? Oh, it's just like a word count. I mean, I think a word count of like 3,000 to 4,000 words is like pretty solid. You can convey a lot while it not being like too long. I hate driving in Pittsburgh. Yeah. The Berg. I'm a 35-year-old woman, and I work as a nurse. I've done so for the last 10 years now. I doubt it's a career that you can really relate to, being a literary expert and linguistic YouTuber, but it feels like we live in entirely different worlds altogether, although apologies if I'm wrong. Now, maybe you have family who worked in the profession, and I'll admit I'm not a die-hard regular viewer, but I love it when your videos come on autoplay and actually help me sleep. Some friends of mine encouraged me to email this story in, so I hope I'm making the right call in doing so, and I think it was scary as HE double hockey sticks anyways. So this story takes place when I was 25. I'd already done a degree, so I was on a fast-track program at nursing school, a little 2-year qualification. Now this meant that there was a lot of the on-the-job training early on, which suited me just fine. I'd been in academia since I was like 4 years old, and I was Academia. 4-year-old collegiate athlete. I need to figure out how to do a YouTube channel. Really wanted to do one, just don't know what to do it about. Let's brainstorm. What do you think you should do it about? And then we'll give you feedback. Did you do night shifts when you were a nurse? I did, yeah. It kind of fucked me up, but now my life is normal. I fixed my sleep schedule. I'm trying really hard to stick to it, and life is way better. Like, it just feels so good to sleep through the night and wake up and just not be sad about dumb shit. I was the #1 night boy nurse. I had my roller skates, my short skirt. Your reading doesn't put me to sleep, but please yawn some more, that's helping. Okay. I want to have a YouTube channel of me just screaming into the abyss. You could try it. Screaming up at the sun, saying, Trump! Trumpy Trump Trumpington! YouTube is a sinking ship for new creators. It is really hard, it seems like. I mean, you can't grow. Like, they do have the hype thing, so it seems like the hype stuff does seem to help a little bit. Like, you really, really have to, you know, find new trends and then build your entire, like, sort of identity within that trend. And maybe you can leverage it to another. I don't know. I don't know how people, like, pop off anymore on YouTube. He slurps out loosh every time he yawns. All my loosh is getting slurped into another dimension. It's kind of funny. One of my buddies at the gym, well, actually my trainer, asked me today if I knew what Saturn theory was, and I was like, as a matter of fact, a little bit I do. Do not resist sweet surrender to his velvet voice. Yeah. Just go to bed. Hey, Arazizi. Has anyone seen my socks? Okay, anyways. I've been in school since I was like 4 years old, and I was eager to put the books away and start emptying bedpans or inserting suppositories into people's butts. And the whole sometimes saving lives thing, you know, I guess that's a bit of a draw too for people who are into nursing. What the fuck am I reading? Okay. I was eager to put the books away and start emptying bedpans or inserting suppositories into people's butts. And maybe the whole sometimes saving people's lives things. I don't know. I forget why I got into the profession. Now anyways, as a part of my training, I was required to spend 2 months working on a number of different wards. Really, they just wanted to toughen us up and throw us into the deep end. I'd already done a stint in the pediatric floor, an oncology floor, and a burns unit. Now, it was absolutely insane, particularly the burns unit, honestly, and I'm pretty sure that I could spend a whole story talking about what various types of burns do to the human body, and I would traumatize your listeners more than half the serial killer or stalker stories they might have... Fucking shit. And I would traumatize your listeners more than half the serial killer or stalker stories they might... I feel like this isn't right. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I could spend a whole story talking about what various types of burns do to the human body, and I would traumatize your listeners more than half the serial killer or stalker stories they might have heard. Yeah, just improv it, I guess. It just doesn't sound grammatically correct. How long does the stream last? Usually like 3 to 4 hours. I'm pretty sure I could spend the whole story talking about what various types of burns do to the human body, and I would traumatize your listeners more than... I'm pretty sure I could spend a whole story talking about what various types of burns do to the human body, and I would traumatize your listeners more than half the serial killer or stalker stories did that they might have heard. Now, I was pretty relieved when my next assignment seemed like the administration were giving me a break. Now, I was set to spend 2 months working on the Coma floor. Coma ward. Coma? Coma ward? Is that even a thing? People just exist in a coma on a floor? Now, I was set to spend 2 months working on a coma ward. I mean, okay, yeah, this was emotionally pretty devastating, but it was pretty different from consoling a guy whose face had been permanently disfigured by an electrical fire and whose nerve endings would never, ever stop reminding him of this fact, let alone the visual aspect. But just thinking about it now, and this one guy in particular, it honestly breaks my heart, and I'm not going to talk about him or even think about it. But instead, let's talk about comatose people. This all occurred way long before COVID, so the majority of people who were in the coma... What does this have to do with COVID? What the fuck? But instead, let's talk about comatose people. And the majority of these Instead, let's talk about comatose people. And the majority of these comatose people were old. We had some younger people, but the bays that I was assigned as a junior trainee consisted of old men and old women. Now, this coma floor was surprisingly busy because during the day there were a lot of visitors. And this surprised me, as you always hear about loved ones being abandoned since they'd been in a coma for a long time. But maybe it's something to do with the area that I live in. Almost every coma patient had visitors almost every day. And then there was the cleaning, the massaging, the daily care. Now, it was pretty chill work, but hard and important work at the same time. And after a week, I was asked if I could cover the night shift for 3 nights. And of course, I said yes, because the night shift on a coma ward is honestly notoriously quiet, and I had a bunch of studying to catch up on. There were only 3 of us on shift during that 3-day block, and I think there was supposed to be a 4th nurse, but they had actually called in sick and I never saw him. There was Yvonne, the charge nurse, and Soa, a junior nurse who'd passed her training. Not that this is in any way I fucking cannot stand this shit. Okay, sorry. Okay, is there actually a comatose? There's a board game. Coma ward board game. Like everyone on the floor is in a coma? In a real hospital setting, coma ward, often called ICU or neuro ICU, provides 24-hour monitoring for patients who have lost consciousness during... I was gonna say, I figured there would be an ICU or some shit. I don't know. You can't stop shaking your legs because of it. Thankfully, I'm still alive. Nearly died choking 10 minutes ago. Damn, sorry to hear that. Hey, Hootie Patootie, welcome back for 52 months. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you, Hootie. You're the best. Not that this is in any way relevant, but Soa was one of the most beautiful girls I'd ever seen before or since, and part of me wondered if this is why she worked on that Coma floor, to avoid the inevitable harassment that would have come her way on a bunch of other floors. Now maybe I was just thinking too hard, or maybe I was just jealous. I was not the kind of woman who was going to win any beauty pageants or fit into any Met Gala outfits. I'm happy to add, though, that 10 years on the job has cost me 120 pounds, and I couldn't be happier. Now, I still can't do anything about my piggy-looking face, though, but oh well. Now, I soon found out that working the night shift on the Coma floor wasn't that quiet, relaxing, or... Wasn't the quiet... Okay, Jesus fuck, sorry. Strauss, welcome, or thank you for the 5 gifters to Freaky Frank, Amy Sanchez, Ludi May, Crispy Bacon, and Melissa Hayes. Welcome, friends. You now have access to bonus content. Guys, I definitively this weekend have to release some type of bonus content. I can't be lazy anymore. I gotta get you guys something. I'm sorry it's been a while, but I promise I will. We gotta have probably some cool fictional stories from Sam Riding. Your girl left me. I'm sad listening to your videos. I'm sorry to hear that. But just remember, your worth does not come from external means. Your worth comes from within. You can just do a members only stream. Well, no, I mean, like, I have to get out some like content both for like the $5 tier, you know, members, and then the $5 tier Patreon. I was in a coma back in 2016 due to a misdiagnosis in the emergency room. Damn, that's insane. Just one of a set of electric drums. That's cool. I soon found out that working the night shift on that Coma floor wasn't the quiet, relaxing, chill-out zone that I expected it to be. The work was no harder than I expected. It was the usual emptying catheters and colostomy bags, taking patients... The work was no harder than I expected. It was the usual emptying catheters and colostomy bags, taking patients' obs, that sort of thing, charting, etc. You would check the machines were functioning and that nobody had secretly died while the machines happily beeped away. It was the human silence. None of the coma... What is this saying? It was the human silence. Like, what is the context of saying it was the human silence? None of the comatose patients snored. Checking the machines were functioning and that nobody had secretly died while the machines happily beeped away. It was the human silence. None of the comatose patients snored. You couldn't even hear them breathing over the sound of the machinery, and a handful of them couldn't even breathe without medical aid, and I guess their loved ones couldn't bring themselves to switch off the machines. And I don't even want to think about having to make that choice myself. I don't think... In what context do you, like, actually get to, like, pull the plug on somebody? That doesn't really happen, at least in the United States. I mean, maybe now in those countries that do the fucking assisted suicide. Why aren't we booting up our brains and using them for supercomputers if they're in comas? I guess we just don't have the technology. Maybe they do. Maybe after that you could donate your brain to science and then they could just immediately deliver it to some like CIA black lab or whatever. You had to pull the plug on my mom. She was brain dead. Oh, damn. I'm sorry to hear that. Next of kin's call. Damn. How do they even determine brain deadness? Just out of curiosity, that's crazy. I don't even want to think about having to make that choice myself. It was my first night shift and I was around 3 hours into the adventure. Yvonne and Soa had disappeared somewhere and I assumed that they both headed toward the end of the ward, but I hadn't seen them leave and they hadn't said anything. So it was just me, sitting at the nurse's station, trying and failing to force the contents of my textbook into my brain. Now, frustrated at my inability to learn, I glanced up to check that the immovable patient hadn't moved. Now imagine my shock when I saw a figure, dressed all in black, standing over the woman in the far right bed off the bay in front of the nurse's station. The figure was dressed entirely in black, not a cloak or some kind of death garb, but black workout pants, a black hoodie, and most notably black leather gloves. The figure was leaning down, whispering something into the woman's ear, who continued to sleep the sleep of the dead in her coma. And I convinced myself that the other nurses were pranking me and that this had to be Soa in disguise. It wasn't anything remotely like I expected from either of those two, though, and I think deep down I knew that the figure was a man. There was no way that I was even willing to consider any other possibilities, though, as I left the nurse's station and stepped into Bay 5. I called out to the figure saying that I wasn't falling for that prank, and he continued whispering into the old woman's ear as if he hadn't even heard me. Obviously, deep down I knew that this wasn't something Yvonne or Soa would do. Now, one of the orderlies or the nursing assistants, maybe. And some of those guys could be freaking weirdos. And I became even more certain that the figure wasn't Yvonne, who neared 300 pounds and was quite clearly not this slender, plaque-clad. EEG. Way to pull a plug on my mom. She was also brain dead and organ donor. She saved 8 people. Oh, that's good to hear. When I pass away, though, I hope you guys use my body for, like, military science. Like, if they invent some, like, new type of drone that they're going to use to, you know, in, like, some future dictatorship, totalitarian state, monitor all of your activity and say something bad about the president, they can just come blow you up. I want them to test that specific drone on me. Yeah, RoboCop style. Just blow my ass up. I became even more certain that the figure wasn't Yvonne, who was nearing 300 pounds and was quite clearly not this slender black-clad figure, or Soa. Now, this was reaffirmed by 2 sets of footsteps coming from the distant left, heading from the direction of Bay 1, and Yvonne's voice calling out in the stage whisper that what the fuck am I? Now, this was reaffirmed by 2 sets of footsteps coming from my distant left, heading from the direction of Bay 1, and Yvonne's voice calling out in the stage whisper that we adopted in the coma ward. Now, she asked who the heck was talking to... Penis. Now, she asked who the heck I was talking to and what was going on. Now, I looked up, hoping that that black-clad figure had to be some sort of figment of my imagination. But of course not. He was no longer leaning down to whisper into the old woman's ear, though. He turned to face me, and I could see that under his black hoodie, he wore a black garment, sort of like a balaclava, but thin and not made of wool. I'm not even sure what those are really called. I started pointing at the black-clad figure who in my mind I had already taken to just calling death. And I started muttering and stuttering, trying to explain that someone was in here, but I have no idea what actually came out of my mouth. Almost nothing coherent, I'm pretty sure. Now, it must have been enough to alert Yvonne to something, though, because she started freaking out, and so did Soa. Not in a, there's a ghost on the coma ward, death has come for us all type of way, though. She charged forward and began sort of whisper yelling at the intruder to identify himself immediately because security was already on their way. I don't think this was true, but he didn't know that. Yvonne ran forward and used her considerable bulk to manhandle this black hoodie guy away from the patients and into the corridor. And that's when he began screaming that we wouldn't keep him from his grandmother, that we were stopping him from being able to say goodbye, and that the angles in his head would melt the guardian angles. Bubblegum, thank you for the 2 Canadian. Hi, good people. Hello, Bubblegum. Excuse me. Blessings upon ye all. What if, like, for a priest to bless you, he had to, like, sneeze in your face? Egan and his dad love Let's Read and Joel. Woo! Let's go, dude. Hey, Shorn, what's going on? Got back yesterday from Miami. How was Miami? If I get my new knee, I'm going to give the rest to science when I die. It seems fair. That'd be sweet. You're my biggest fans. Thank you. I'm an organ dono. In my party days, I preserve them in alcohol. It's amazing. That's when he began screaming that we wouldn't keep him from his grandma, that we were stopping him from being able to say goodbye, and that the angels in his head would melt the flesh from his... Oh my God. That's when he began screaming that we wouldn't keep him from his grandmother, that we were stopping him from being able to say goodbye, and that the angels in his head would melt the flesh from this fat, unclean demon, which clearly meant Yvonne. Now, I was frozen on the spot like a complete useless fool. Soa had already ducked behind the nurse's station and called security, God bless her. Meanwhile, Yvonne was furious, and I'll never forget what she said. "You can call me fat, and you can call me a demon, but nobody calls me unclean," she yelled. And halfway to the elevator, the door opened and a handful of security guards emerged, followed by a neurology doctor. Now, this couldn't have been the security that Soa called because they appeared far too quickly. Now, the doctor quickly explained that this patient had been in an overflow area suffering a head injury that didn't appear too severe, but something had caused him to make his way to that coma area. Coma ward, coma floor. But something had caused him to make his way to the ICU coma ward. Now, we later found out that his grandmother had died on this very ward after falling in... Dude, what is wrong with me? I cannot find a flow with this shit. Egan is 8, his dad is 35, has learned a lot from these stories too. That's awesome, thank you. Scene from Ace Ventura. Yeah. Who has watched The Pit? There's no greater. I heard that The Pit, at the end of every episode, is and now, time for the lesson. Time for the part of the episode where we tell you exactly what we want you to think. I'm out in the garden, you're reading to my plants, strawberries, carrots, tomatoes, and potatoes. Tomatoes, potatoes, strawberries, bananas, and llamas. Alright, here, let me talk to them real quick. Yo. Plants. Grow. We later found out that his grandmother had died on this very floor after falling into a coma when the patient was just a child. Now, more gently now, Yvonne escorted the patient toward the doctor in the elevator, and the patient paused and removed his hood and that mask thing that he was wearing. And I don't know if it was the removal of that mask that caused everything to go to hell, but something did. The patient turned and stared directly at me. He made perfect, direct eye contact, and suddenly, blood began dripping from his nose, his ears, and most violently his eye sockets. And then as I watched, the patient, whose name I still didn't know, had the most violent seizure I'd ever seen and collapsed directly to the floor. Everything felt like slow motion, but sped up at the same time, and the doctor pronounced that black-clad man dead right there on the scene as they tried to work on him. Now, the short version of this mild concussion he'd received had triggered some type of aneurysm in his brain, a weakening of his brain tissue that nobody could have even possibly predicted. Now, I'd love to say that the comatose woman he whispered to had made a full recovery, but she remained in her coma for another couple of years before also passing. And the whole thing could have put me off being a nurse, but it didn't. It reminded me that so many people need our help, and people who might appear sinister at first glance, people who are at the end of their lives. Wait, what? People... Guys, who's the scariest video on this channel except the Appalachian one? What is the scariest video? I don't know, man. Maybe the Bigfoot one. Craving watermelon. With salt. You wanted a date with Patrick Bateman? Nice, bro. I wouldn't want to be buried. I wouldn't want to be cremated. I wouldn't want a funeral. I would want my family to have a celebration of life instead, so they're not just sitting around being sad. I know, because honestly, I'll be real with you, like when you go to a funeral, it's actually kind of a pain in the ass to be sad the whole time. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, there's going to be moments of tears and blah, 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 but like to have to sit there and almost like force it. And I was also kind of thinking like, it's kind of that way of, like, this sounds so bad, but I was just imagining, like, and this is honestly kind of a question for you guys, like, as a woman, do you ever, and you're at a funeral, do you ever like kind of feel like you have to cry? I'm not saying that I don't cry. Obviously, men seem to put on like a tougher facade than normal, but like, have you ever, so Justin, yes, Justin feels the need to, but you know what I mean? Like, do you ever feel like you kind of, like you're almost like you have to impress the other girls to make it seem like you're really in your feels or whatever, so like you almost kind of like force out the tears. It's expected if you're the family, right? But I mean, like, what if you're just like not in the crying mood, like you already got your grieving out like a couple hours before, and then you're kind of like worried, like, oh fuck, they're not gonna see me crying, they're gonna think I'm like happy that dad's dead or something. And you're like, hold on, let me muster something up here, let me scratch my eyeballs like Erica Kirk. Do you guys ever feel like American Psycho should have had more depth to it, and the sequel should have never been made about someone? Well, it certainly shouldn't have made a sequel, but yeah, the American Psycho movie, it's good, but I don't know, it kind of goes into the realm of absurd, and like I've never really seen like any sort of like analysis that like has made any crazy sense, you know what I mean? Like, there's some good scenes in American Psycho, but I sometimes think it's not, like, the greatest movie in the world, other than, like, a few different funny parts. The whole thing could have put me off being a nurse, but it didn't. It reminded me that so many people need our help. People who might appear sinister at first glance. People who are at the end of their lives. Everyone. We're all vulnerable to the inevitability of death, and I feel like it's my calling to try and help that transition feel a little easier for as many people as I can. Puby Lewis and the Jews. Your favorite band? I think it just depends on how close someone is to the deceased. True, yeah. Cheru. Oh, dude, we still got some diet. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm drinking a Diet Coke. I broke down. I'm not drinking energy drinks though. Still being good there. Cried like a bitch when your dog died. Well, right, yeah, I mean, I'm saying everybody should cry. I'm just saying, like, in the public setting, whenever there's, you know, say you've already cried a bunch and you don't feel like crying no mo, do you ever like force out a few extra ones just for some points at the funeral? Points for Gryffindor. Have you ever seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall? I have, yeah, it's a good one. That's with what's his name, right? The Russell Brand. He like fucked his wife or something. Jorge, thank you for the $1. Don't see it as a man versus woman thing, but I am a woman. Well, once again, what the context I'm saying is kind of like niche. It's like say you're one of the many siblings at one of your parents' like funerals, but you're like older, you know, you're like in your 60s, your parents died in their 90s or, you know, 80s or whatever. And then you already cried a bunch, you know, because it's like the funeral, like they died like, you know, 3 to 5 days ago or something. They had to be, you know, delivered to Amazon and then sent back. And you just, you know, don't want to seem like you're a heartless bastard, so you just force out a few, you know, little sulks here and there. I'm gonna cry when my cat dies in a few years. She's like 9 or 10. Dude, don't say that. What the fuck? In a few years? Your cat is not gonna die. Dude, Pradeep, how old's Pradeep? Pradeep is 12. That's a few years after 9, and he is like in the best shape of his life, bro. Your cat's gonna live to be 25. Just make sure he drinks out of the toilet. Just wear a black lace veil and no one will know you're crying. Oh, that's a good point. Wear chainmail. Alright, next story. Let's go. Let's freaking go, dude. Lambs, mams, bananas, potatoes. Had a boyfriend get hit by a car in high school. He passed away. I wasn't allowed to be with him. My parents let me go to the funeral. I wasn't allowed to cry, and they expected me to move on in 2 weeks. I was very sorry to hear that. That sounds terrible and traumatic. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the like 9 or 10 for a cat is not old at all. You might just have a different perspective on cat life. Cat life. Okay. Fix this grammar. Don't change anything about the story. What's up, creepy McGirl? How goes it? Oh, creepy clown girl, that's right. What you know about cat life? Honestly, I guess I don't know much. But, Pradeep has given me a much greater appreciation for the feline genome. It was kind of funny, like, you know, like I'm very particular about the Pokemon cards now, right? It's like my little autistic fixation. And I wasn't paying attention for like 1 second. And there's like these sleeves, you know, these little Pokemon sleeves that you can put the cards into. And like, I look away for a second, all of a sudden I hear like, and like Pradeep, I look over and Pradeep is just like licking the fucking sleeves. And then basically he's just like filled the insides of a bunch of them with like saliva. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I had to like throw those ones out, because I'm like, imagine you get like a $1,600 card and then you just like shove it into a sleeve that's got fucking cat spit all over it. Cats love plastic. Bam, bam, banana, banana, bam, bam. Yeah, they want their microplastics. Wait, what is this saying? Why am I so bad at reading paper? JFC. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Oh, I see. Word of advice: never work in a gas station at night. This might sound dramatic, but I'd rather crawl over broken glass, work down in the sewers. Oh my God. This is actually kind of funny. This might sound kind of dramatic, but I'd rather crawl over broken glass, work down in the sewers, or be Hassan Piker's dog than work night shift at a gas station again. Maybe day shift is better, but my a-hole boss, who I really want to call a slur but don't want to get you demonetized, forced me to work night shift and night shift only. I was a 22-year-old high school dropout who'd spent 6 months in juvie and bounced from foster family to foster family, so I guess I was lucky enough to find work at all. But good God, I am very sure that it wasn't legal to force a 22-year-old to work 5 night shifts. So stupid. Your trap muscles have been so sore I don't even know what I did. Were you like holding something up or something? Is your guy the president of Purdue University? He is, yes. I've been a little too addicted to working out. Is it stress? What kind of workouts are you doing and how often do you do them, Justin? Are you doing like lifting and running 1,000,000 miles? Any book recommendations? Just the Talmud. Cats love the new plastic smell and taste. I used to catch my cat licking grocery bags. I heard it was because they were bored of their food, but I have no idea. Jack Russell ate some crazy stuff when he was a puppy. Disposable razor heads, broken glass, DVDs, and Vicks Vapor Rub. Nothing happened to him. Holy crap, the razor heads. Joe, do you remember recording your first ever video? Which was what? That was me reading about the general. Who's the general for... I think I deleted it, but it was the general for the creation of the nuke bomb. The atomic bomb, I guess. General Lee... That's fine. Who was the general for the atomic bomb project? General Leslie Groves. Yeah, I feel like I vaguely recall recording that Wikipedia page read. Leslie Groves. And then I deleted it because during the period of, like, you know, mass demonetization or whatever, I remember thinking like, oh, maybe that video's, you know, affects my channel because it talks about nukes or something. You know, just, that's the worst part when like YouTube is not very straightforward as to why they demonetize stuff. It can be really confusing to creators because they just kind of like become superstitious and like guess random shit. How long you been working in a gas station? I bet you have some wild stories. Me? Or what we're reading right now. What do you think about the Scientology raids? I don't know, it sounded honestly kind of similar to like the conspiracy theories people may have had towards, you know, the creation of the, or like the correspondence dinner where they were talking about it being sort of a false flag so they could justify security measures to continue the building of the ballroom. Which honestly made me imagine to myself of like, imagine they have like a really creepy eyes wide shut type ball party, right? And then like, they're like, now everybody, the best time of the evening. And then, you know, that's the point of time where like all the lights go out and then like nukes drop on America or something. And then all of those people go into like some underground, like interconnected underground city bunker bullshit. It would just be like the most, you know what I mean? Like that would be the most Epstein class style shit that they could possibly do. Anyways, but yeah, I was thinking it was kind of like something similar to that, where like if Scientology had a bunch of like, you know, interesting pieces of information and documents in that specific building that got raided, wouldn't it make sense to like justify an increase or a transfer of all of that data to another location, or maybe even like a restructuring of its security to justify funding to it, whatever, you know, it might be, by just like basically faking a bunch of kids like quote unquote speed running through it. I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking outside of the box here. Creepy Clown Girl, welcome back to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to, or you still have access to bonus content. And Sharon, thank you for the 5 gifters, guys. Be sure to thank Sharon for that. Do you have a favorite state that you've read stories from? I guess any of the ones that are like outdoor related maybe, so perhaps Georgia? I don't even know. The Scientologists chain their doors from the inside so no one can get in. It seems pretty smart. Oh yeah, Texas. Tejas. Okay. But good God, I am very sure that it wasn't legal to force a 22-year-old to work 5 night shifts a week every week without ever changing to day shifts. And there were a lot of things about Gary's gash and groceries that weren't strictly legal, but I'm not a rat, and Gary's been buried in the ground for nearly 20 years now. Not to mention the fact that I'm banging his daughter and she has my kid on the way, so I gotta play nice. Not to mention the fact that I'm now with his daughter and she has my kid on the way, so I gotta play nice. So I'm not trying to sound like some jerk here. Come on, bro. So I'm not trying to sound like some jerk here, but Lana, Gary's daughter, is the one baiting me to write this right now. I'm actually a very nice guy in my personal life, and I'm gonna pop the question to Lana before our baby boy is born. You know, what's a better place for a proposal than a freaking Let's Read video? Lana, you make me the happiest I'd ever been, and I can't wait to raise our son with you. Now, through the power of Joel of the Golden Voice, I'm asking, will you marry me? Now, let's quickly move on to the story in case she says no. If she says yes, though, well, this will be the first serious proposal you performed on the channel, and I hope so. Now anyways, the point is, Gary was a greasy, greedy dude, and let's just say that I'm glad Lana inherited certain things from her Catholic mother rather than certain things from her father. But enough about that. We had some absolutely insane weirdos who dropped in during the night shift. There was this one guy who would spend a sickening amount of money on scratch-off cards. Some disgusting bastard who would spend hundreds of dollars on Pokemon cards. I'm gonna officiate the wedding. Oh shit. Adriana Gula, thank you for the 20. I don't know why OBS changed the notification sound for donations, but it just does that now. But Adriana, thank you. Audrey Angula. I don't know why it's like written weird, but thank you, Audrey. Thank you. Would you ever join a throuple? Only if they stunk. Only if I could fucking smell them from the parking lot as I walked up. The stinkier, the better. Take a big whiff. If I can, like, say it's nighttime and there's just like a little bit of a gleam of, you know, a light post outside, and if I can just like see that the other part of the throuple is kind of covered in a layer of grease and stench, I'm fucking in, baby. In like Flynn. Thank you again, Audrey, jeez, sorry. I wish YouTube would just switch back to like the username shit, man. It's so hard to read people's names. We had some absolutely effing weirdos who dropped in during the night shift. There was this one guy who would spend a sickening amount of money on scratch cards, and I don't think he ever won a single cent. And from the way he dressed, he was clearly trailer trash too, and a few times I remember saying, "Buddy, do you think you should cool it with the gambling? I'm genuinely concerned about you." And you know how he responded? He hissed at me. Not even a word, he just hissed. After 3 times that, I just gave up. And so there was that scratch card guy, scratch off, jack off. So there was that scratch off, jack off, and then there was the 7-foot tall man who came in at precisely 2 a.m. every day and bought a single Red Bull, a pack of Marlboro Lights, and one of those massive pickles in the plastic packets. Fuck. Pickles in the plastic packets. Fuck. That's actually the devil's writing right there. What the fuck is this story? It's like a gas station or something. Wait, is caveat and oddity related to hokum? What's that? Adrian Gula. Oh, okay, sorry about that. How now, brown cow? Alliteration, that's what that's called. Sick. Sick nasty. Guys, are you reading any books lately? Someone asked for some book recommendations, and I noticed not a single person in our 300 member thruple, our 300-ruple, even gave a single recommendation for a book. I remember watching about a YouTube interview with a throuple, and they did look like shower was non-existent. If one girl to 4 guys who hated themselves, and sadly, one got her pregnant. Doesn't that sound super healthy for kids? I'm sure that kid's gonna turn up completely well-adjusted and normal. Isaac Asimov robot visions. Is that like a compilation of stuff? You missed like half the comments? I might have. I probably wasn't looking. I recommend Who Fights with Monsters. Okay. Okay, I like it. Read the back of a cereal box. You got it. Then there was the 7-foot-tall man who came in at precisely 2 a.m. every day and bought a single Red Bull, a pack of Marlboro Lights, and one of those massive pickles in the plastic packets. Just those 3 items every single time. And the guy looked like he was about 90 as well, and sure, he was a skinny mofo, but there was absolutely no way that I was questioning him on his purchases, especially not after the hissing gambler. Now finally we had this kid, and he looked about maybe 8 tops, who would come in at around 5 in the morning every single Tuesday and Thursday, and would ask if we had any X-Men trading cards for sale. And I explained to him every single time that we didn't sell trading cards of any kind, but that didn't put him off. He'd be there every Tuesday and Thursday like clockwork, and when I told him no, he looked so upset and despondent, really. And so one day I went to the local comic shop and just got like 6 little packs of X-Men trading cards. And when the kid came in next, I presented him with the packs because surely one of them was the right brand that he was looking for. And the kid looked at the pack of cards, called me a retard, and then threw the packs back at me and stormed out. Now to this day I have no idea what I did wrong. The guy in the comic store told me that these were all X-Men trading cards that existed, but I guess I really don't know what I guess, but I never saw the kid again anyway, and that was kind of a relief. And I'm pretty sure that in the future someone met this kid and he was the inspiration for that duck song about the lemonade and the grapes, and if you know, you know, Google it. Now speaking of kids and short people, it's time to start the creepiest of these stories. I'm standing at the counter, minding my own business, when I just hear this rich, deep voice demand that I cook him a hot dog because all the ones on the machine are overcooked and look like crap. I glance over and, yeah, fair enough. The hot dogs had been on rotation for about 3 days if I knew Gary, so a fresh batch wasn't out of the question. The problem was, I had no idea where the request had come from. The voice demanded that I get a move on and said that he didn't have all day. And so I leaned over the counter, trying to get a better view of the store, and that's when I saw a little person standing as close to the counter as he could get without face-planting it. Face-planting it. Face-planting it. A little person. Whoa. Kitty galore. Thank you for the 2. I love your voice. Thank you, Kitty. Meow. You love eating turtles. Have you guys had turtle soup? If you're short, you're getting banned. True. Justin will beat you with sticks. What 2 stories you're looking for? What do you mean? I like turtles. No, never would eat turtle. Don't knock it till you try it. And then you'll be raising them in a terrarium, aquarium. What do you guys consider short? Anybody shorter than 6 foot tall is banned. Basically, the only people that can stay is just Justin. Justin's 6'8". And so I leaned over the counter, trying to get a better view of the store, and that's when I saw a little person, standing as close to the counter as he could get without face planting. Now, I'll admit I was a little thrown that he decided to position himself somewhere that would clearly not be visible to me, but whatever. Now, I apologized profusely and said that I had no idea that he was a little person. And the guy just sort of harumphed and huffed and said that calling him a little person was deeply offensive. And so in my infinite wisdom, I apologized again and said, "I'm sorry, I meant midget." And I saw his face go red with fury, and I knew that I messed up. Now, I scoured my mind. What else did small folk like to be called? Now, this was back in the 80s, so the differences weren't as well known then. And the man explained that he had dwarfism, and so obviously I should refer to him as a dwarf. Now, fair enough. I have no problem with that, and I will refer to people however they want. I guess the thing that riled me up is that during my first time in juvie, I took an extremely nasty acid attack to the face, and it left me permanently disfigured and blind in one eye, so I clearly wasn't so intentionally ableist against people with different body types, but that's neither here nor there. I told the dwarf that I would happily make him a new hot dog if he'd head over to the machine with me so I could cook the wiener to his perfect perfection. And somehow, of course, this managed to offend the fella tremendously again, and he began screaming at me in what sounded like a Shakespearean monologue about how he shouldn't have to move, and it was my job to go and cook him a hot dog with all the trimmings and blah blah blah. No, actually, it wasn't. It was a self-service hot dog machine, but I wasn't going to argue. I told him that I'd head over and cook him up the best hot dog he'd ever had. Now, the dwarf replied by saying that it was too late now. I'd screwed everything up, and it was time to face the consequences. Now, in complete shock, I watched as this little guy rose to his full height of around 6 foot. At the same time, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a sawed-off What the fuck is this story, bro? This is like a fever dream of insanity. Insane in the main brain. Gnomes are mean. True. Gnomes will steal your... Actually, you know what would be so funny, actually, related to gnomes? Is to say you were having like a bubble bath. This was like finally your like relaxing night to just like chill. And then all of a sudden, like you're just like relaxing, you hear something, and you like look over and you just like, maybe you smoke like a joint. You were smoking a joint? This actually be a good scene in the movie. You were smoking a joint, you're a hot chick, you're in a bathtub, and you just like, all of a sudden you hear like something like, and you like look to your right, like, and you're like, what the fuck? And you just see like two fucking little gnomes with like hats and like, you know, their blue button-down shirts and shoes, and they're slowly just like lifting up a fucking, through some type of abstract, you know, coordinated effort, a toaster up to the edge of the bathtub. And you like look at them and you look at the joint you're smoking, you're like, and like then they throw the toaster in the fucking bathtub and you get shocked to fucking death. Somebody write that down. That needs to happen in the movie. I know there's a new video game out about like annoying, you know, gnomes or whatever, but like actual, like not even like scary looking gnomes, but just generally mischievous gnomes. Yeah, that might be a scene from Chucky, honestly. I might have just like subconsciously buried that. But we need to do that in gnome form. And like, you know, but they're those types of gnomes where the hats, you know, kind of go over the eyes a little bit. And then they kind of got the big like noses. They look like the ones from Snow White. The Bride of Chunky. You're a legally ordained gnomian minister. You can marry gnomes. Guys, what is the scariest video on this channel except the Appalachian one? I said it's the Bigfoot video. You quit playing Overwatch yet? I have, yeah. Oh, is that Nat? What's up, Nat? How are you? Long time. What have you been up to? Yeah, thankfully, you know what, the way I quit Overwatch, it was kind of like taking Suboxone for heroin, but I played Marvel Rivals, and then Marvel Rivals was sort of like my replacement for Overwatch, but then I realized very quickly that Marvel Rivals is like the fucking worst game of all time. Got married, new job, Missy. Oh, that's amazing, congratulations. But yeah, Marvel Rivals is like even worse than Overwatch, like how bad it's designed and balanced. And then once I hated that game enough, I was like, well, I don't want to play this. But then it like made me realize I don't need any of these games. And then I just like stopped. And then I started smoking crack instead. You play Mario Kart or Dead by Daylight? No. Mario Kart seems fun. I wouldn't mind jumping into that sometime, but I've never really given Dead by Daylight a proper shout. You gotta be Mormon to be that happy. I had Mormons come to my house more recently and was like, it just made me sad. Cause like then, you know, we met or they came back again, right? On like a day where I could like actually talk to them. And then we talked and it was just like, it just seemed like they really did not actually give a fuck about you, because at one point they're like, it was only like 15 minutes into the conversation, they were like, well, do you think you'd be interested in joining the church? And I was just like, I feel like I'm a pretty hard sell on Mormon church, but I enjoy hanging out with you guys. And they're like, oh, okay, well, it's probably best that we, you know, put our time into people that want to join the church. And it was like, okay, fuck you, fucking exclusive Scientology club over here. So fun. I don't know. But you know what I mean? I think that's like the weirdest thing. I think that's the weirdest thing about certain like religious people. Even though I do consider myself like sort of religious, you know what I mean, as far as like having faith. But at the same time, I know the energy of those particular religious people, and it's like, it's got to be even more off-putting than being a chick and a dude just like really wants to fuck you, and he just like won't stop staring and won't like just awkwardly stands there, doesn't even like shoot his shot, he just kind of is like standing there. That's what it kind of feels like with sort of like hyper religious people, where they're not really trying to get to know you or be your friend or anything of that nature at all. They're just sort of like waiting for the opportunity that can be like, would you like to sign this document that means that I won your soul over? And it's just like really just awkward, you know? Like it's like they just don't know basic, you know, because I mean, if you're really going to convince someone of some like insane concept, like you got to at least be their buddy for a little while and like actually get to know them. But it's like, but if you're going to try to sell it, at least be a good salesman. I did a video on a cult called Ekankar, and it's honestly wild. Every comment on the video is from hardcore members going off. Really? That's a little scary. You should do one on Scientology. The truth behind the Scientology speedrun raid. And you come to find out that they had like made all these changes and it was a false flag. Would you like to have join the collective and save your immortal soul? Probably, yeah. Did you just invite them to hang when they were trying to sell? Yeah, I just kind of wanted to like hang out with them because they seem nice, you know what I mean? My life is like so fucking boring that like just having like 15 minutes with some Mormons was like kind of pleasant for me, you know what I mean? I didn't want anything to like do with their religion. I just enjoyed their positive energy. What do I think about soaking? What, like your butthole or something? That's true, I could have had 9 wives. Sounds like nine fucking headaches, am I right, guys? Could you live in Maine? I haven't been to Maine before, but I'm sure it's nice. Strauss, Darth Maul, Jeeves, Master Yoda, Django, and the clones are my favorites. Nice. Do your life and be like, ooh, it does, yeah. I catch what you're throwing, Joel. Hell yeah, man. I don't know. It's just like, I've kind of gotten into some strange routines as of late, and they are pretty peaceful. How about the bubble thing that they do to get around not being able to look at porn? The bubble thing. Do they have sex with a bubble? What do I think about flat earthers? I guess it's just like whatever, you know what I mean? I think it's funny, those memes where it's like when every conspiracy is proven right except the flat earthers, and then they're like flipping tables, like, fuck! But you know what I mean? If like somebody wants to think that like Earth is more like a realm, and then everything is just kind of contained within like a really like low orbit or something, and that the sun's small, and I don't know, you know, it's like, how do you keep if that was the truth, how would you keep a secret like that secret while simultaneously like every amateur astronomer of since forever, unless there's some type of science that people are just missing, I don't know, it just seems a lot to cover up. What's on the other side of the flat earth? I guess it's just China. No, the pictures have these like circular bubbles that you can see the pictures from. The rest of the image is obscured. It's mental gymnastics. Wasn't it the same thing related to like sex or something too with them? I don't know if that's true, but it's like you do it through the underwear and somebody pushes on you, or I don't even know. You're just like bouncing on it, but not really. The truth is we're just in a simulation. I mean, maybe, dude. But what if the whole universe is a big simulation? Oh, that's what soaking is? Like you gotta get into a bubble bath and then jerk off via looking through. Oh, wait, so that means you can jerk off with your mind? Joel, if I may ask, who ships your merch? I believe it's Spreadshirt. That's where you get the everything. I think they do everything. It's pretty good material, I'd say. And I have all the prices at the lowest possible. So the only profit that's made is like, I think like either $0 or $1. In complete shock, I watched as the little man rose to his full height of around 6 foot. At the same time, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a sawed-off shotgun. He told me that if I went for the panic alarm or anything like that, he'd blast a hole in my chest the size of a foot-long hot dog. And you know what? Screw it. Screw Gary. I wasn't getting killed over a job that barely paid enough for me to live and forced me to work 5 nights a week at Gary's. And I told the now 6-foot dwarf to chill and emptied the register for him. He filled a bag that he'd produced from nowhere and gave me a very cruel smile and just strutted out of the gas station. Or he almost did. For some reason, he paused to unload a shotgun round into the hot dog station and blasting that thing into pieces, leaving my ears ringing, and then he left. Now, my heart was pounding harder than it had when I'd done 4 lines of, well, never mind. Immediately, I pressed the panic button and I called 911 for good measure. Screw Gary. Those cops could actually wake him up. And so when the cops got here, we discovered a bunch of things. 1, Gary was too cheap to actually buy an outdoor security camera, so that one was actually fake. And so we had absolutely no footage of this fake dwarf leaving the premises. However, the interior cameras did work, and I was able to see how he'd tricked me. He'd been kneeling on shoes, positioned in a perfect practice pose, so I had no chance of seeing his real legs. Now this explains why he didn't want to accompany me to the hot dog machine. What's the point of being a dwarf, though? Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage. Should do a video called Scary True Wawa Stories. We should. There's not enough Wawas around here. We need more. What's up, S-Mook? Dinky Ledge. My favorite actor, Dinky Ledge. Would you ever do a challenge where you Taco Bell every hour for 24 hours? Do I get paid? Because honestly, maybe. I fast the day before. I then eat for 24 hours and stay up. And then I fast for 24 hours after that. Justin, how much would you pay me? And it has to be your entire paycheck for the new Marvel movie you're in. That I know you're in. I looked you up. This explains why he didn't want to accompany me to the hot dog machine. Wait, this explains... Oh. What's my best dad joke? Why, holy shit, that scared the fuck out of me. You know, what's the most fat-phobic thing in the world? Heart attacks. This explains why he didn't want to accompany me to the... Wait, what the fuck? Carol Williamson, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you. This explains why he didn't want to accompany me to the hot dog machine, though. And hilariously, this fake dwarf had been the suspect in a bunch of local robberies. He'd never fired his weapon before, and you know what got him caught? The fact that he took the time to shoot the crap out of that hot dog oven. Now, they were able to trace that buckshot of the gun to the owner and get his ass busted. He'd robbed enough places that I'm pretty sure that he'd actually die behind bars. What a shame. And as for me, I got my ass absolutely chewed out by Gary for handing over the cash and not risking my life by grabbing the baseball bat under the counter. And I just quit on the spot. I got my life together, and I went back to school, and I graduated, then got a degree, and some years later... Oh man, this one was interesting. How do you fake being a dwarf? I have no fucking clue. It's the most asinine thing I think I've heard. Someone was being mean to me because I don't have kids and said you wouldn't understand, so I said, you lost your only child to COVID? I hope that's not true, but it would be a funny thing to say if it's fake. What does a lawyer wear to court? A lawsuit. Nice. That's actually very good. That's actually very good. I hope you write that down. Somebody keep that one. We're going to need it for post-apocalyptic world. A museum of jokes. I quit on the spot. I got my life together and I went back to school. I graduated, then got a degree. And some years later, I met a woman that I fell head over heels for. Now, imagine how shocked I was when I discovered that she was Gary's daughter, and hated him even more than I did. We originally bonded over drinks, where she shared our glee that he was dead, and I know that sounds like an ass, but... No, I know I sound like an ass, but you didn't know the man. He wanted me to die rather than hand over $200 or so. Dude, I can't, man. He wanted me to die rather than hand over $200 or so to a fake dwarf. Screw Gary, screw the fake dwarf. I work in a very lucrative field now, and my life's freaking awesome. And that's why I'm writing to another awesome person, you, Let's Read. And I hope you enjoyed my story of a bunch of weirdos, at least one of whom nearly murdered me. And if you didn't, well, I know people who will shove a hot dog where the sun don't shine. Have a beautiful day. Okay. We can't even. I made up my own murder joke. Who wants to hear? I do. And you just like list my address. Oh, fuck. Need a new Pradeep and Joel drawing. Gonna do one tomorrow. Oh. Did I post I was gonna say, did I post Pradeep on... I do have a... I could post a picture of Pradeep after the live stream, because I got that Umbreon. I put like a little thing over his head so he looks like Umbreon. Boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, 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 boom. Okay. Anyways, our cats look 90% alike. Yeah, where do we... What's your cat's name again? So are you streaming on Saturday to film videos for members only? I stink so. It's either that or record in my own time and just get it up like normal. Get it up! Okay, so that was a story about a glizzy. And this next story is coming at you here briefly. What time is it? We still got a half hour before midnight before we don't feed our gremlins. I wish they would make another Gremlin movie, but it can't suck. If it sucks, I'm gonna go nuts. Fix this grammar, don't change the story. Bum 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 bum. Only difference is mine has a white patch on her chest. Oh, that's right. Oh. I feel... Well, never mind. Sounded like a cardinal. Dude, I'm so good at bird sounds, bro. They call me the bird mimic. They call me Bird Boy. That's what the birds actually call me. Hey, Bird Boy, you fucking loser. Did you see that they're putting out a new Jackass? Oh. Is that worth seeing? Honestly, maybe. I remember didn't the last Jackass come out during COVID time frame, or like right after COVID? And then Johnny Knoxville comes on screen. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the theaters in this tumultuous time and spending your money. And here's my 40-year-old friends and their balls. Rachel Wolfson. Oh, that's right. Yeah, they had like random people in it. You love mourning doves better. Yeah, mourning doves are amazing. What's their sound? They're like... Wait. Oh no. How's it go? It's like... My son, who's 5, is convinced that an owl talks to him when he looks outside. I don't have the heart to tell him that the doves on the power lines is so cute. Oh, okay. I thought it was at nighttime. I was like, oh, fuck, dude. Maybe it's like aliens or some shit. There's an owl outside, Mommy. What? And then he just floats in his bed. Okay, sorry. So I'm a vet, and I specialize in farm animals, livestock. Owls might be a witch. Is that what it is? So I'm a vet, and I specialize in farm animals, livestock, and particularly horses. This means I'm often on call and working the night shift. I was on a call on this particular night when this happened, and I thank the Lord that I was, and also wish that I wasn't. It was not a nice night, but ultimately I feel like if I haven't been there, at least 2 other human beings would be dead, if not 3, and a horse, which to me is just as important. I was on a call watching some garbage on Netflix when my cell phone rang. It was Irene Capson, one of the 2 ranch owners along with her husband, who lived out on Iron Road Way. Now, I was a big fan of the Capsons. They'd been clients of my father before me when I was still just a little girl and longed to join the family business. They were in their late 60s now, and they only called if there was a really, really good reason to. They were the kind of farmers who rarely had the need for a vet because they knew how to take care of the things themselves, for better or worse. And this is one of those cases that was worse, though. Their eldest, most beloved mare, Dapple, was on his last legs, and there was nothing they could do to ease his pain, and that meant that it was up to me. It was a 40-minute drive to the Capson Ranch, but it took me an hour in the dark as a careful and somewhat paranoid driver, especially on country roads, which was effing death traps if you have ever had to navigate it. Would you hire a cleaning lady, Joel? I'd hire your mom to come over and give it an old spit shine. Whack pew, whack tooey. Give it an old hot tua on the floor, so I see my reflection in it. When Joel was a little girl, when I was a little girl, I used to skateboard. I used to say, eat my shorts. I saw The Fourth Kind as a kid and thought it was 100% real. I was traumatized. Dude, there was so many of those like found footage style movies or whatever that I was on board with it. Did I find the Hawk-Tua girl attractive? Let's see, I forget what she looks like. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. We got Haley Welsh. It's Haley. There she is. Lovely Haley. We love her. We love her to death. We love her crypto scams. We love the way she generates a lot of saliva. Some say too much saliva. They're like, where's all the saliva coming from? You're gonna be drowning in it. How do you even get the words out there? So look at those honkers, though. Goodness gracious. Yeah, she seems nice. We love her spit. We love her for her spit. She should have sold her spit in a jar. What the fuck was she thinking? Doing the fucking crypto scam, you dumb bitch. Why the fuck didn't you sell your spit? You fool. You absolute non-entrepreneurially minded southern lassie. She could still be around. I am respecting Wayman. I'm respecting her so much I'm giving her advice. I'm mansplaining to her how she could have not completely lost all trust from her audience overnight. That's how much I care about her. How is she not in prison for that? I mean, I'm sure there's probably multiple lawsuits, like, just still in the works. I don't even know if we know about it yet. Both from people who got screwed over by the rug pull, but also probably the people that tricked her into actually doing the rug pull in the first place. Maybe she's suing them, vice versa. Either way, she's probably not in great financial position right now. She pled insanity. Okay, we actually have to look this up. I haven't kept up with that at all, so let me look this up. Was there any updates on the Hawk-Tua girl rug pull scammy whammy? Faces of Death reboot. Yikes. What are you talking about? New Faces of Death. Dude, that's the future of movies, where they just show videos of people dying for 3 hours. I actually might go. Okay, Haley Wesh has publicly addressed it again in 2026. She denies being part of any coordinated rug pull and says that she didn't control wallets, supply, or the technical side of the token. The Hawk-Tua Hawk coin itself, launched December 2024, ran up to roughly $500 million market cap, then collapsed 90% almost immediately. I don't even know, where did these coins even get used at all? Kind of an instant pump crash is exactly why people labeled it a rug pull. So the legal investigation side, this is the big update. There was investigations and lawsuits filed after the crash, okay. But as of 2026 reporting, she has not been found liable. SEC scrutiny didn't result in charges against her personally. She's said to have cooperated with legal teams. Your Honor, I played retarded. She's not officially cleared of everything forever, but nothing has struck to her legally so far. She's basically sticking to her story. She didn't understand crypto at all. Was brought in as a marketing face. Brand deal claims that she paid upfront marketing fee but didn't profit from the coin itself. Says she was misled by others involved in the project. What's still unresolved? This is where it gets murky on chains. Data shows concentrated token ownership, huge red flag. Investors lost large amounts of money. Complaints were filed. Other parties tried to tie the coin to where targeted legally. The key question is still debated. Was she in on it or just a front person used by crypto insiders? Okay. Interesting. Whatever. Off with her head. I don't give a shit. Just kidding. She can come live with me. It's fine. It's fine, honestly. Girls can pretty much do whatever the fuck they want forever and never get in trouble. That's... She's just a girl, Your Honor. She's just a girl. The last private investigator video was top tier. Thank you, Josh. Good to see you. Cryptua. I can fix her. I can fix her with 30 years in a hard labor camp, Your Honor. Your Honor, I can fix her. I can send her right to fucking Dagestan, aka my basement. Okay. I was on a call watching some garbage on Netflix with... Right. Wait, before the little girl joined the family. Okay, yeah. This is one of those cases. Okay. They were in their late 60s, and they only called if there was a really, really good reason to. They were the kind of farmers who rarely had need for a vet because they knew how to take care of things themselves, for better or worse. And this was one of those cases that was worse, though. Their eldest, most beloved mare, Dapple, was on his last legs and there was nothing they could do to ease his pain, and that meant that it was up to me. It was a 40-minute drive to the Capson Ranch, but it took me about an hour in the dark, as a careful and somewhat paranoid driver, especially on country roads, which are absolute death traps if you've ever had to navigate them at night. Now, when I pulled up to the Capson Ranch, I cursed because my Jeep had already gotten stuck in the mud, which was unusually left... Oh. The Jeep. It's a Jeep thing. How many stories left? I'm not sure. I think we got one more after this. Francesco. If you get your Jeep stuck in the mud, you probably had like 24 rubber duckies on the dashboard. Dude, what is up with that? I don't remember, like, it wasn't until I just like noticed one day that somebody's Jeep had rubber duckies in it. And then all of a sudden everybody's Jeep had like 900 rubber duckies in it. And then people were weird and like leave rubber duckies like on other Jeeps' cars so they can have them. It's like infecting them with a fucking... basically Jeep AIDS. Have you ever taken the city train and did you enjoy it? Yeah, I took a train from outside of Baltimore into Baltimore, and it was okay. There was a youthful teen on the ride back at nighttime who it's just so funny because he was not happy. He was just like, you know, like pacing back and forth, like just like muttering to himself, like, fuck fucking bitch, no fuck me, you fuck with me, you fuck that shit, boy, you fuck with me. And then just like he would go up to like the side of the car, you know, against like the metal walls, and then just do like quick like jabs into the fucking hard cold steel. His, you know, knuckles weren't bleeding or anything, but in my head I'm like, all right guys, let's make a fucking, let's amscray this bitch. He could do anything at any moment. You have your Pokemon, I have my duckies. That's fair. I went to Baltimore and didn't die. I know, right? It's crazy. It can actually happen. Real Jeep heads don't do the fucking stupid rubber ducks. They rock crawl and do burnouts and drink cheap beer and smoke cigarettes. Goddamn right, dude. Instead of black ducks, they just have black dildos on the front. When I pulled up at the Capson Ranch, I cursed because my Jeep had already gotten stuck in the mud, which was usually left without sawdust, which was unusually left. I don't fucking know. When I pulled up at the Capson Ranch, I cursed because my Jeep had already gotten stuck in the mud, which was unusually left without sawdust. I was also a little concerned because, as well as the captain's vehicles, there was an ATV I didn't recognize. It didn't even look new, but I guess it could have belonged to one of the ranch workers. Irene Capson had told me that it would only be her and her husband present at the ranch, though, and to meet them in the barn, so alarm bells were already kind of ringing in my mind. Now, the first thing I did was grab my heavy, highly important equine. Equine? How you doing? How you doing? I've been watching like the Papa Meat channel, you know. It's like I never really watched it, I guess, before, but now I'm like, it's actually very enjoyable because I don't even know. It's just Hunter, you know, from Meat Canyon, just like someone writes him a script. He and his buddy like Nate just chill in the room and like read the script while like giving commentary, but then they find like some way to like structure the rest of the video with some B-roll of either them doing the thing or like, you know what I mean, like going to a Ren fair, Renaissance fair, or like he was ranking like the different mall places. Then he goes into the mall and like buys the clothes and does an outfit. Then he goes back to his wife to show her the outfit, and then she roasts him. And I'm just like, this is like, it's just like a very brilliant, like it's just like hyper simplistic, but like really well structured, and just like gets the job done of like really getting good laughs, but making you like him, you know what I mean? He does seem like he really wants to like lose a lot of weight, which I totally understand, you know. I just hope he can figure it out, because I mean, all he really needs to do is like work out, like lift weights with a like he's probably rich as fuck, right? So it's like lift weights with a trainer 3 to 4 days a week, while also doing like cardio, and then get like a dietitian. And obviously that's hard, you know, because you have to stop all this stuff. But he was talking about being like pre-diabetic and that kind of thing. And I don't know, I'd feel bad if because there's a lot of health problems you can have, obviously, from obesity and diabetes and shit. But I could totally see him getting jacked, all types of jacked. I was rewatching your history crime you made like 5 years ago to listen to while I worked your live stream while I drive home. Love you, Biz. Thanks, dude. Good to see you. I had a Jeep in Southern California to leave the top off and show off my chesticles. What a tool. Shame on me. It's all good, bro. I just like to imagine that you're kind of like you and the boys all wearing like various colored outfits like the Teletubbies, but it's, you know, sort of like remember in Zoolander when they're like driving around with somebody's wearing green, somebody's wearing red, somebody's wearing blue, somebody's wearing yellow. And then Justin's like, gasoline fight. Gasoline fight. Even though gas is like $9 a gallon, Justin's just rich, doesn't care. He's just spraying his friends with it. Premium gas. Did you know that diabetes is a parasite? Can you explain that? Because I don't think that's correct. How much cardio do you recommend I do? 10 to 15 minutes of intermittent cardio, 1 minute of 4 speed, and the next 7.7 speed, and the last minute turn up to 9.2. That sounds good to me, bro. Honestly, like you're kicking my ass. Sometimes I just fucking skip it, believe it or not. I would like to get into like sprinting. I heard sprinting, if you can do like sprinting intervals for like 10 minutes or something, is like a really good one that continues to stick with you as far as amplifying your, you know, BMR throughout the day, the amount of calories you burn. Big enough for ants. If you could write a letter to your younger self, what would you say? Fucking looks max like clavicular. I write that exact sentence and my younger self was like, what the fuck? This is from the future? Am I gay? What is this? Used to run the 100 and 4x100s. That's dope. Start Joel maxing. Start jerking off in public and doing quaaludes. Great. I also like the Stairmaster because I can read a book on my iPhone while doing it. Yeah, that's awesome. Any way to like make, you know, cardio fun and tolerable is like the way to do it. Even if it's just like going on a long ass walk and like meditating, because I mean the walks are like what save you, because it just like decompresses everything. It like opens up the hips, blood flow, all that type of shit. DDR, fuck yeah, bro. I was watching that, what's that one girl, Emaru? I just like, you know, you click on Twitch and then you see like Emaru is like one of the top streamers, and she was like bouncing around on like DDR, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This chick is like good at like literally every fucking video game she does, whether it's like Dark Souls or whatever, she's just good at it. Do you appreciate high-res music, and if so, what would you use to listen to your favorite tunes? High-res, does that mean like coming through like an 8-track player or something? Do you ever want to collab with Corpse Husband? I think he's retired, so probably won't ever see him again. Hope he's doing okay, though. Have ever been blonde? I was born blonde with blue eyes, teal skin. I've ever frosted my tips, just my pubes. The government could do us a solid for their pain and suffering by bringing back Quaaludes. True. High res, like FLAC files, etc. They use the DAX. Oh, yes. I do. I remember I guess that's on CDs, right? CDs is like FLAC, right? Because I remember downloading FLAC files for the Secede Trishasla album, but then you could only really, I forget what exactly like specific headphones or systems could actually like listen to things or play actual FLAC. I'm not exactly sure which player that was. You just munched out. You munched maxed. Wonder what Corpse thinks about the Saikuna controversy. Probably doesn't really give a shit. I mean, like, it's such a weird thing because he had a girlfriend, right? And then he was talking to other girls, and then the other girl that he was talking to revealed that he was talking to her but then it was only because she like wasn't the main chick. And then, you know, even though it was completely consensual and stuff, or presumably all the relationships were like consensual, and then they had sex at some point or whatever, right? But it was like, the thing is that she said that she doesn't normally do that, but still, you know what I mean? It's like two adults consenting, like it's, you know, she didn't do that until now, but chose to do it, and then now regrets it because he's not with her. But then his actual girlfriend like came out and like shamed the other girls for coming against him and making their private life public and embarrassing, you know, their reputation, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, really, it just seems like just a maximal. He's still a weird cheater. Yeah, I mean, he's still a weird cheater, but it's like, I'm gonna be real with you, like that's like every human being since the dawn of time, you know what I mean? It's not to say that it's good to do, but it's like that, if you've been to any, you could literally walk out, you could probably call your parents right now and they've cheated on each other, or like your aunt and uncle, your friends, you know what I mean? Like everybody on earth fucks everybody on earth. So it's just like to sit there and ponder to yourself why the guy who's like covering his mouth, like giggling about shit, who apparently didn't have sex till he was 30 or something like that, is now just like going buck wild with it, like, you know. The projection is crazy, babes, but it's like, I guess it's not even necessarily projection in the sense that it's just like I'm aware of what guys do. You know what I mean? I'm aware that they like, yeah, it's like it's fuck maxing. Like it's every, like, I'm not saying it's not good to cheat, but it's just like, it's like, would it make more sense for the girl who was having the affair, rather than like to go like into some like public forum to discuss this, to disparage his character, or would it make more sense for her to reach out to the girlfriend? And then she was like aware of the girlfriend, but then also in the phone call she was like, well, because he was like, well, I guess this is it, isn't it, or something. And she was like, well, we don't have to break up. You didn't cheat on me. You cheated on her. And it's like, okay, so everybody in this situation is like completely fucking delusional. You know what I mean? Lost my V card at age 72, arrived late to the scene compared to most people my age group. It's whatever. Basically what I'm trying to say is that, like, to sit here and find out that some dude who's like at the level of like rock star status within like a nerd community wants to is liked by many women and then wants to also have sex with many women. It's like, have we ever heard of, I don't know if you guys ever heard of a guy named Genghis Khan before, but he liked to do that as well. No, I don't know. I don't know. I guess in my mind, I don't really fucking care. I'm not, yeah, cheating is not good. You know what I mean? But it's like nobody in that situation seems like they're like some perfect person. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess, I'm sorry, I've seen the sides of humanity that are way more controversial in my mind than like whatever the fuck he is. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't give a fuck. I literally don't give a fuck about like some dork trying to like have as much sex as he possibly can and not like maintaining some degree of like faith. It's like pretending like you've never interacted with like another human or ever seen any other aspect of like people. I don't know. I don't care. I just don't care. Not your circus, not your penis, yeah. It completely 180 to what everyone thought about him. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't know what you like, you know. Yeah, because he played this like sort of like, you know, kind of guy, and whatever. I literally only knew about him through like seeing that Corpse had played games with him, and I guess maybe that's why it didn't shock me, because I didn't care about a bunch of, like, most of the people in like the Twitch streaming space are like cringe and annoying and boring, and I just don't care, you know what I mean? So like finding out that they're not your like perfect curated, you know, beautiful little angel with a penis and balls, you know, like, it's like, what the, like, who, like, it's like the fucking water is wet, man. Vampire voice, please. Good, blah, blah, blah. Just thinking about Corpse because he did care about him. I guess so, I'm sure. Here, I'll give Corpse's response. Yeah, I just, man, like, whoa, I was just like, oh, dude, like, I guess just, you know, some people are just not, you know, not who you expect sometimes, and it's just like, sometimes you get like really horny, and, you know, it's like, you want to jerk your wiener off, and yeah, you know, it just feels really good. He's back, baby. He's unretired. He made his first appearance on a Let's Read live stream with 300 people on it. The first thing I did was grab my heavy, highly important equine medical case from the back of my Jeep, and then, cursing again as I waded through the mud, almost losing my gumboots multiple times, I headed toward the barn. Now, before I even reached the barn, I could tell something was wrong. Now, the door was open more than a crack, and I could hear an unfamiliar voice coming from inside, who did not sound at all friendly. I managed to find a crack in the barn slats that allowed me to spy through without hopefully getting noticed, and the narrative I began to piece together filled me with incredible dread. The younger man held the Capson couple. But I will tell you, there was a a point of cheating that I had seen that actually did hurt me in my life, and it was like one of my best friends, his girlfriend. Like, his girlfriend is like literally one of my favorite people, and you know, to find out that he cheated on her like twice, that was incredibly fucked up. Just because, like, you know what I mean, like, she was legitimately like one of the people I thought, like, in my like little circle, I was like, oh, these guys are definitely getting married, you know what I mean, these guys are getting married, she's perfect for him, I've known him forever, like, this is awesome. And then for him to like cheat and then do it like twice, but then they're still together, you know what I mean, like, they're still together, which I found really interesting. I mean, I wasn't gonna like interfere with that. Am I still friends with them? Yeah, I'm friends with both of them still, you know what I mean? But yeah, I guess, like, in the concept of, like, when I see internet drama, I don't really feel anything, you know what I mean? Because I don't really know any of those people. I don't really care about their lives. Like, obviously, if they do something illegal, like, that's fucked, right? And you're just like, yuck, or whatever. You know, like that, I don't know, what's that one dude? His name's like Jeff. He's like a rapper, and then he like killed that one girl. That's obviously like beyond insane. But you know, but then when it's like people that are like in your, you know, your immediate life proximity, that to me like makes more sense. Me keeping the secret, dude, why are you're like low-key mad at me? No, she told me about their cheating, or him cheating and stuff on separate occasions. But it was yeah, I don't know. Stop projecting. What is the projection? What is the projection part I'm doing here? Telling you about, what is the projection part? I feel like people just like learn like armchair psych words and then they just like throw it out there. No, honestly, it's a good point. It is my fault. It's my fucking fault that he cheated. And also, I represent your ex-boyfriend too. I represent your ex-boyfriend, and you should beat the shit out of me. You should beat me with a fucking stick, and everything any man ever does, I'll be responsible for it. I will be the Jesus Christ of boyfriends. I will hold the weight of all the trillions of men who have cheated in the history of fucking monkeys on Earth. I will carry that burden for you, I promise. But then you also have to forgive all the boyfriends too, to be forgiven. I've witnessed so much cheating. It's yeah, I mean, it's just everybody likes to do the sexy thing, and chemicals be chemicaling. Have a Snickers. Have a Snickers bar. I rise from the Let's Read man cave after 72 hours, freeing the prisoners in hell. I'm going to boyfriend hell, which is actually just a really nice break from getting bitched at over text. A younger man held the Capson couple at shotgun point, and I could make out penis. I could make out everything they were saying. I won't recount it at all because a lot of it simply involved the younger man, whose name was Daniel, cursing a lot at his parents. He was throwing some really vile, unrepeatable language out there, things I'd be ashamed to say to anyone, let alone my own parents. And that's something else I learned. Daniel was their son. His purpose for being at the farm was to try and persuade the couple to loan him $30,000. He made no secret of the fact that this would help fund his lifestyle, which largely seemed to involve taking meth and some kind of lunatic plan to set up a lab with his friend. Apparently the friend was providing the lion's share of the funds, and the Capsons were begging Daniel to realize that this was a scam. There would be no meth lab. There would not become. Would I cheat for a Klondike bar? Bro, I would cheat with a Klondike bar. I'd stick my wiener right in there and freeze it off. Line up like 5 of them. We're going all the way through, making a little Klondike glory hole. I didn't date for God knows how many years in that interim period. It's all good, dude. You don't need to date. Nobody needs to date. Everybody just needs to play video games and hang out with their cat. All you need in life is to rot in bed and chill at home with an animal that you bought. Nobody, who needs human touch? It's just going to result in hurt feelings, man. Video games, hang out with cat, beer and weeds, sign me up. There you go. Maybe go on a walk. Maybe go on a walk with a Tim Dillon podcast in your ear. Or no, go on a walk with a Saikuno stream. Him playing Lonely Happy Boyfriend ASMR right in your earbuds. It'd make me really wet. Unfortunately, when I get wet, it's like swamp ass. There would be no meth lab. That would not become the real life There would be no meth lab. They would not become the real life Walter and Jesse, and at best, he would blow the money on drugs. Daniel's response to this was to threaten to blow them away and simply take everything he could. He claimed he knew the safe code, and as much as it was destroy him to... My voice is sick, thank you. Thank you very much, you're very kind. Projection, friend of the show. What's like another, what, do you guys know any other? Oh, we got projection. What's the other, like, what's like TikTok psychology words? We got projection, we got gaslighting. Basically, any word that allows you to displace blame onto another person. Triggered, we got narcissist, straw man, vocal stimuling. Is accountability one? Yeah, narcissist is the big one. Personally, I am a gaslighting, projecting, unaccountable, deflecting narcissist. Also a psychopath, potentially, based on what one time when I got mad at our dog for shitting on the floor. And chicken nuggets. Chill out, dude. You're really chicken nuggeting me right now. He claimed he knew the safe code, and as much as it would destroy him to kill his own parents, it would destroy him even more if he couldn't get the money. I knew I had to step in. I snuck away from my spy hole and slipped through the crack in the door. Now, this kid hadn't noticed me, and neither had... Now, the kid hadn't noticed me, and neither had Irene Capson. Unfortunately, Capson did notice me and couldn't stop the look of relief from crossing his face. Now, unfortunately, the dad Capson did notice me and couldn't stop the look of relief from crossing his face. And while I was flattered that Mr. Capson saw me as their savior, it did unfortunately mean that the younger Capson's son saw me as a threat. He whirled around. The shotgun was now pointed at me. I just stammered and stuttered, almost peeing myself because I had never had a gun pointed at me before. I faced down angry charging bulls. I've been kicked by a horse. I've climbed a tree to avoid 30 to 50 feral hogs. Now, granted it was more like 7, but that's not a joke, and I operated on a tiger who started to wake up during the procedure. I've calmed an angry hippo, but nothing has left me as terrified, as shaken, and unsure as the young Daniel Capson pointing his gun at me. I'd almost forgotten what I was there for, and then I noticed his eyes flicked to Dapple in the stall nearest me. Without taking his eyes off me, I'm taking a huge trauma dump today. Where do you find an angry hippo? I don't know. Probably Cincinnati. Oh, what if every day you wake up and there's a new crisp $100 bill in your jacket pocket, but every time you pull one out, a random human on the other side of the world dies. Yes or no? And then you're going to be like, this is what it's like to work at Raytheon. Which is true, I guess. It is kind of crazy, though. I mean, it could be all bullshit, but maybe all this stuff with, like, the missing scientists and all this, like, strange stuff, like, maybe time travel is real. Maybe literally, whenever the aliens crashed in Roswell, which also, I mean, what a weird thing for aliens to do. Hey, see you, tea time, take care. Just crashing in Roswell, like, other people have suggested that that whatever aliens were, like, first in contact with, like, the Germans during World War II, and that the people that crashed in Roswell were, like, some sort of progerian. You know what progeria is? Where you're, like, a little person that looks like an alien. That's, like, what crashed in Roswell. It was actually, like, a humanoid, or, like, a human, but maybe German? I don't know, man. But anyways, I'm just starting to think that maybe time travel is real. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I'm down for that, absolutely. I don't know anyone out there to give me the money, and don't offer that to anyone on the other side of the world. Do I believe in aliens? I mean, I think there's something, whether they're, like, interdimensional or, like, spiritual or whatever the fuck. There's definitely something fucking going on. And because it just seems like every decision that the governments make always just seem to be, like, heading towards, like, one particular destination of, like, totalitarian control, which I guess is just the natural progression of, like, government power anyways. But hey, Kathleen, good to see you. We are the aliens, maybe. I mean, honestly, maybe. The P-52s, P-47s, I don't know what the fuck that's all about, though. Different timelines and shit. But the debate should be how they probe. Yeah, we need to get into the ethics of alien probing. That's a future debate. Or a slave race to the reptilians. I've heard that too. Like, it's something about the reptilians being a dimension higher than us, but they can exist in our dimension, but then distort our view of reality. And then, yeah, basically they just, like, constantly recycle our souls here on Earth and, like, farm our loosh. Why do you think your girlfriend stayed with your friend? I feel bad for her. You know, I don't really know, honestly. Like, it's weird. I've heard people say this before, but, like, some girls, and once again, it's, you know, subjective to the person, but it's almost like they would rather stay with, like, a cheater than be with, like, a weak man, if that makes sense, or something. Because he's a very highly desirable dude. Like, I've known him since high school. And, like, once he, like, you know, got into his, like, glow-up phase modeling thing, I mean, like, I swear to God, that guy's been with probably, not even joking, like, probably hundreds of people. Like, which is not, I feel like that, like, kind of, like, splits your soul into fucking fragments, like, like, having sex with that many humans. But, like, I'm not about that life, you know what I mean? But it's just, like, there's just something about it, like, whenever you're just, like, so extraordinarily nonchalant and don't give a shit about what the outcome is, it's almost like somehow that, like, increases the, you know, your sexual appeal. Hey, Oxy, what's up? We're talking about these dirty, stinking cheaters. Can't be a cheater and be honest. Yeah, presumably, I don't know. Just feels like she has low self-worth, which is sad. It is sad, honestly, because, like, I've known her, like, and honestly, just genuinely as, like, a friend. Like, I was, you know, she had talked about when I had first met her, once again, like, one of my friends, one of my best friends, like, best girlfriends, like, just so much fun to be around. She's super sweet, super nice, and just very talkative and fun. And, like, you know, she talked about wanting to go to nursing school and having a family and, you know, all this stuff. And it just seems like she avoided all of that, gave all that up just to, like, continue to maintain the trajectory that she has with him. And even though I love both of them, and I'm sure they're fine together now, you know, but there's a part of me that I'm just like, damn, dude, you should have fucking got out of that and just pursued your own shit, you know? But how do you tell that to somebody without, like, absolutely, like, breaking them? Pumpkin Spice, thank you for the 5. Do you hang out with them often? Not super often, honestly. I sadly don't get to see him all that much, but when I do, it's quite pleasant. Is he pee-whipped? Pee-whipped. He's sucking on it. He's huffing whipped cream. No, you know, he's, I guess, the opposite. He's probably one of those friends that I would say is like the opposite of pee-whipped, because he is just, ever since I've ever known him, like, he's basically just one of those people that, like, he has his hobbies, he does the things that he wants to do, and then whoever is, like, around him in his vicinity at that time is like his circle. So he's like very, which is really funny, like how many girls he's been with, but he's like very heavily into like nerdy shit, like playing you know, Magic the Gathering and that kind of thing, which is fun. But like you know, so he just kind of does that thing. And so like I had seen him a lot mostly throughout like college, because we worked together at like a bar and stuff. And then after that, it's like we became distant, but not even, it's like one of those things where like if we see each other, we immediately pick right back up. It's totally fine. But it's one of those things where it's like you have to like literally put yourself in front of somebody's face to like get them to like actually, like he's the type of person that like doesn't text you for like 72 hours after you text him, and he just says like lol. He's like the least text person ever, which I think is like super smart, honestly. That just like minimize the amount of text you send in your life is probably like a direct ratio to your joy. There's a game called Catherine Full Body A, demon game about what happens if you cheat on your love, and then in the dreamscape you end up dead in your sleep if you don't pass the demon judgment puzzle. Scary. That's what's gonna happen to him, I think. That game's lore, real life lore. I'd almost forgotten what I was there for, and then I noticed his eyes flicked to Dapple in the stall nearest me. Without taking his eyes off me, he asked his parents, "Is Dapple okay?" And I remembered from growing up as a little kid when he was a teen that Dapple had been his horse, his beloved horse, back before whatever the hell happened to him happened. Now over his shoulder, Irene admitted that no, Dapple was not okay, that I'd been called to the ranch late at night to see if there was anything I could do to ease Dapple's suffering. And then Mr. Capson started pleading with his son, begging him, asking him if, I don't know. J.D. Vance riding motorcycle through town towards Camp Pendleton today. That's crazy. I don't know why it's funny, but who knows? My ex cheated me back in 2014, and now his testicular cancer universe always put things in balance. That's true. Watched the recent video today, hearing calm bread again made me laugh. This is the chat's fault. Me saying calm bread is their fault. They said I wasn't pronouncing it right, so I made things good. Then Mr. Capson started pleading with his son, begging him, asking him if there's... Then Mr. Capson started pleading with his son, begging him, asking him if that's really what he wanted Dapple's final memory of his beloved boy to be. And at first I thought that Daniel was too far gone, that his love for drugs outweighed his love for Dapple. And then he began to cry and asked me if I could save him. I lied and said yes. I told him that I needed to reach into my medical bag to grab some equipment to help make Dapple better. Not many people know this, but some vets carry pistols as part of their medical kit, particularly vets who specialize in horse care. It's often the easiest and most painless way to put a horse to sleep, a bullet through the center of the brain. And that hadn't been the plan for Dapple, let me just say that, but it was certainly my plan for their son. I pulled the pistol out, aimed it at him, and unwaveringly told him to drop the shotgun. Daniel was a broken man at this point. He told me through tears that the shotgun wasn't even loaded, that he'd never shoot his parents, and that I could shoot him in the head if I wanted to end his pain, as long as I promised to do all I could for Dapple. I had no such intention of shooting him, but I did demand that he drop that gun. However, to all of our horror, the shotgun was loaded. I'm guessing by accident or somehow including a single shell left over, but the gun bounced off a wooden... Wait, why did it bounce? It was slippy. It was covered in Dapple grease. What do you think of the 2019 movie, Alita Battle Angel? It's one of my favorite movies in the modern era. I never got to see that. I heard about it. It's pretty cool. Alita Battle Angel. Is it like really like stylized visually? I only ever connect with people who grew up underdogs and outcasts but came into their own because they stuck to their guns and always stayed true to themselves. Best people you could ever find. So basically you're best friends with J.D. Vance, huh? You and him riding around. You're riding on the back of his motorcycle, arms wrapped around his waist, head resting against his back, just feeling the vibrations of the motor and the wind go through your hair. And you're like, you're an underdog, you know that, JD? Just like me. What? What did you say? Nothing. And then he drives off a fucking cliff. What's up, Alyssa? It is a visual and cinematic masterpiece rivaling visuals of the Avatar movie. That's cool. It's a Meat Canyon cartoon, yeah. It was so funny, and like whenever like Meat Canyon was doing like his modeling for his wife, she was just like so unimpressed. And at one point he was like yelling at her in his like Meat Canyon voice. I don't know, that voice is, it's just like such a good fucking voice, that scream that he does, because he just like does it so effortlessly. The gun bounced off a wooden plank on the barn floor and managed to fire into the ceiling. It scared everyone but caused no damage, thank God, but it caused the other 3 horses in the barn to go absolutely crazy. So now I was surrounded by 3 screeching, braying. So now I was surrounded by 3 screeching, braying horses, as well as a wailing Capson family. And from the dude, what is wrong with my mouth, dude? I got shmush mouth. I got schmutz schmonz. My teeth are too tight. Yeah, I need braces, but they do the opposite. They just rip my teeth out. I got moose mouth. From the fact they'd all collapsed to the ground at this point and pulled each other into a reconciliatory. I was not ready for the word reconciliatory. Fucking hell. From the fact they'd all collapsed to the ground at this point and pulled each other into a reconciliatory family hug, I figured I was safe. I still made a point of grabbing the shotgun and shooting Dapple in the head to end their misery, but I figured my job was done. I then put a bullet into the head of the kid, because fuck him, that was annoying, and just for fun, I shot the other horses too. I'm insane. Okay. From the fact they'd all collapsed to the ground at this point and pulled each other into a reconciliatory family hug, I figured I was safe. I still made a point of grabbing the shotgun and tossing it out of the barn, then immediately went to Dapple. The rest can be rushed, though. The rest can be rushed. I'm confessing, yeah, that was a projection. That was me projecting the fact that this story was about me and I was the vet, and I shot the whole family in the head. Because I was just like, you guys suck. You should just make the most fucked up story you can think of, adding it. Nothing. That's, yeah. I did record that part, so maybe I'll throw that in there, but... Then someone's gonna post something, they're gonna say, like, Joel, I feel like Joel was really disrespectful to the author's original vision of the story. It was just... He was projecting his psychotic, man-like tendencies. He's a man, in case you guys didn't know, Joel's a man. He's an evil, disgusting, cheating whore of a man. And it reminds me a lot of my ex-boyfriend and my dad. Pretty much any guy that's ever been bad in my life, that's who he reminds me of. And he should die, like crucifix style. Crazy style, really. How do you know I'm a man? Alright. Everybody's getting a DNA sample sent to their house. The rest can be summarized here. Dapple, despite being an old horse, just had an infection. He wasn't dying, and I was able to save him. And while I wouldn't attest to it, I believe Daniel's accidental gunfire gave Dapple the adrenaline boost that he needed. What? An adrenaline boost? I don't think that's how that works, but whatever. The rest can be summarized here, though. Dapple, despite being an old horse, just had an infection. He wasn't dying, and I was able to save him, and the local cops showed up before any of us had a real chance to call them. The current deputy sheriff grew up with Daniel, was one of his best friends in fact, and between all of us and an unwillingness to ruin Daniel's life even further, we were able to avoid any criminal charges. The caveat was that he had to spend the required amount of time in a rehab facility, which, to his credit, he has. 5 years later, Daniel was a head rancher on the farm, giving his parents a chance to enjoy semi-retirement. I'm his go-to veterinarian, and I spend a lot of time there. Now, I wouldn't say that we're romantically close, but we are becoming good friends. Sober, clean Daniel is the lovely, lively, smart teenager that I remember. So while that was the most terrifying night shift of all time and the most terrifying moment of my life, I can't help but feel proud. I saved a family. I saved a man from addiction, and most importantly, I saved a horse. Dapple lasted a few more years until he passed away peacefully in his sleep, and Daniel is currently training Dapple Jr., and I'll be honest, I'm putting a little extra effort into that horse's medical care and upkeep. A dark story with, at least currently, a happy ending, and I wish they could all end like this. A happy ending where you get jerked off. What happened to Pedro Pascal, your favorite actor, Joel? The internet has turned on him. The once beloved daddy of Hollywood was now determined to be a guy who likes to have a lot of sex with everything that moves. Who would have guessed that the guy that you thought you knew was a fucking pervert? It's almost like every time. Alright, quick one for you. Okay, here we go. We got one more story, guys. Can we do it? Or should... Oh, it's fucking... Oh, I gotta go to bed. Fuck. Okay, this one's kind of quick. Pervo pass creep. That's actually good. Hey, Davey, dude. Thank you for the 10. To you from chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's get a quickie in. Take a shot every time Joel projects. Every time I project a big load of goo all over the blow-up doll of Pedro Pascal that I have, take a shot of it. One more time. I work at a grocery store that I won't name in Detroit, and I work almost exclusively on the third shift, so thankfully I don't have to deal with customers, and I spend most of my time stacking shelves and doing busy work. It might not sound like a glamorous job, but it's something to earn me a little money while I finish my college degree, which I'm actually set to graduate with honors. Now, it's very, very rare that anything weird happens during the third shift. Some of the workers can be a bit weird. Lunch and a quickie. Hey Ella, what's up, dude? Oh boy. What's up, Destiny? Destiny's Child. Some of the workers can be a bit weird, but aren't we all who work at night? No, I'm just projecting, but I usually arrive at the store during closing time, by which all the customers have been tossed out on their butts. I don't know what happened in this particular case. Maybe she was hiding in the bathrooms or tucked away in a display or God knows what. But short version shorter, there was an elderly female customer left in the store with us when it should have been just us workers. Now maybe you'd imagine her wandering around lost or looking for her dead husband or demanding to know where we keep the pasta. Aisle 3, by the way. But no. She snuck through the whole of the store. She was a ninja. She was a ninja. She want to be ninja. Okay. But no. She snuck through the whole of the store unseen, like solid freaking snake, and none of us had a clue that she was even in the store for the first hour of our shift. Now, the first sign that something was wrong was a sudden foul smell emanating from the fish department. Myself and my colleague Cherry rushed over there, curious as to what had suddenly caused a fish to just go rotten. Had a tuna exploded or something? But nothing could have prepared us for what we saw. The old woman had crawled into the ice fish display. Iced fish. Iced fish. Hello, I would like some iced fish. Some fished ice. A sudden foul smell from the foul smell department. Aisle 3. Disgusting. Another foul smish emanating from my private area. The old woman had crawled inside the iced fish display, which was actually due to be emptied by one of us at some point. And she was rolling around inside of it, tearing fish apart with her bare hands and somehow treating them like her worst enemies. We watched in horror as I guess kind of. Clean up in the stinky pussy aisle. We watched in horror as I guess. What the fuck am I doing? We watched in horror and, I guess, kind of amusement. We could only stare as she saw the goddamn octopus. We could only stare as she saw the goddamn octopus sitting there. Did I watch Project Hail Mary? I haven't. I heard it was good, though. I heard it was PogChamp. Probably wait till it comes out on VHS. I want to be ninja. Okay. We watched in horror and, I guess, kind of amusement. We could only stare as she saw the goddamn octopus sitting there, some kind of delicacy that they'd imported in because God knows why. Apparently people eat these things, and squid. And she was muffled by the glass, but we heard her screaming something like, "There you are," at the octopus, and began trying to tear into it. Not octopi. What the fuck am I reading? Wait till it comes out on the slab. Wait till they release it on scroll. Wait till it gets written into the Akashic records. Now, octopi are stretchy and pretty hard to just tear with your hands, so this old lady had the brilliant idea to ham on the octopus with her teeth. To ham on it? Who up hamming on it? So this old lady had the brilliant idea to just sort of gnaw on the octopus with her teeth. Only it turns out that she wore dentures, and after a number of attempts of biting the octopus's tentacles off, she got her dentures stuck in its forehead. Thankfully, someone had called the cops by now who showed up, but it was like nobody wanted to intervene. We wanted to see what she'd do next, and Unfortunately, what that involved was mashing her way out of the glass cabinet housing those fish, creating an even the penis balls. It's fucking raw. What you know about a thing of ground beef being left out for 3 days? Probably 500 black flies stank like death maggots. I puked. Hell yeah. You should post that on Twitter. Rotten shark in Norway, it's considered a delicacy. Oh, that's true. We are almost at 400 again. Back to the lab. I guess it's because I'm staying up late again. I should ruin my whole sleep schedule for 100 more viewers. Unfortunately, what that involved was smashing her way out of the glass cabinet housing the fish, creating an even more disgusting smell as she charged towards us. We soon realized that there was more to it than fish. She'd soiled herself. Now this might all seem funny to you, and frankly it was right up until this moment, and then, covered in broken glass and bleeding profusely from shards of glass, she lunged... Oh wait, I already read the word glass. I can't make it a paragraph to save my wife. Let's up those numbers! And then it just goes from 400 to 402. Yeah! Then, covered in broken glass and bleeding profusely from shards, she lunged at Cherry, tackled her, calling her an octopus woman and accusing her of inserting eels into various orifices, and I think some troll grandson of hers had shown her some of the famous shock memes and it had just broken her brain. And the whole thing ended with the cops having to actually tase her and try to bring her down, but she was having none of it. She somehow withstood the entire taser blast. I guess it was pretty weak since they thought that she was just some old woman. And then she charged back to the fish counter, grabbed as much seafood as she could carry, and then jumped on Cherry again. Now the next thing we know, she's trying to force an entire octopus down Cherry's throat while whipping me with some eel, and I know it sounds funny as hell, but it was honestly terrifying at the time. The fish were pierced with broken glass, and she was forcing broken glass down Cherry's throat. She was pierced... Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck is going on? This is like a Dark Souls boss. Does anyone else play shooting games? Like Wobox? Is the mukbang niche still popular on YouTube? I haven't heard much about those channels in years. Alright, that's a good question. We got to the bottom of Hawk Tua earlier. Let's check out the mukbang scene. Hopefully they're naked in it. Okay, that one only has 26. Okay, here we go. We got Gong Sam Table, ASMR mukbang, crispy fried chicken, fire noodles, crunchy corn dog recipe eating. 1 day ago, 470,000 views. Guys, I think we know your professions. Oh, this is gonna make me sick. But also, like, dangerously fucking hungry. I don't know why the top comment, so beautiful, as he's just like shoveling fucking corn dogs down his throat. So beautiful. I love him, Mom. Please, let me bring him home. I'll feed him. I'll feed him. Okay, anyways. What a flick was I? Oh. The fish were pierced with broken glass, and she was forcing broken glass down Cherry's throat, and she was pierced with broken glass herself, meaning that she was cutting Cherry up. And so here's the final kicker. The old woman wasn't an old woman at all. She was an old man who had made a living as a fisherman and lost his livelihood thanks to commercial fishing in grocery stores like ours, switching from locally sourced produce. What the fuck is this? What a twist. That's a man, baby. Who do you work for? She was an old man who had made a living as a fisherman and lost his livelihood thanks to commercial fishing and grocery stores like ours switching from locally sourced produce. He had dressed as his wife because after he went bankrupt during the Great Fish Recession, she died of a heart attack, and he blamed just about everyone he could, but mostly us. Apparently our store chain had been his biggest local client, and so it ended up being a tragic and horrifying and scary incident. Cherry suffered severe damage and bleeding to her trachea, as well as some scars all over her body from the broken glass. And the store managed to keep almost all mention of it out of the papers, and the poor psychotic fisherman was taken away. What a delightful twist. In the foul smell aisle. I was drinking glass. Aisle 3. People have this evil fetish to watch people eat themselves to death. It's disgusting. I don't know. But what if you get to go to heaven faster? That's probably kind of like a sweet outcome. And also, I don't know what it is about mukbangers, but they can eat all that shit and then just like actively like tell their body like, don't get fat. Don't get fat. And it's just like, okay, I won't get fat. The store managed to keep almost... No, what the fuck? The poor psychotic fisherman was taken away to spend his remaining years in psychiatric care. I still work at the grocery store on third shift, but hopefully not for much longer after I graduate. Cherry seems to be doing fine now, though, but we all insisted that we were not willing to stock imported octopus and... Octopusy. Cherry's doing just fine now, but we all insisted that we were not willing to stock imported octopi in the fish counter from there on in. Oh, holy shit, we're done. Okay, guys, we got a Hawk Tua on out of here, so let me read the outro. Can you guys think of something funny for me to say? The rumor has it that the creator of Tekken is being bullied into including a Waffle House stage in the new game. I hope to God they have that. That'd be so fucking funny. Joel, what's the rash? Who knows, man. I'm just a leper at this point. Alright guys, think of something funny for me to say. We're going to say it in the outro, and you might be the most famous person on the video that day. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them over at my email, letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. I also have a true crime channel called Saturn Soul. Go check it out, as all the links are down in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, stop projecting. You remind me of my mean dad and my mean ex-boyfriend. All right. Guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me do silly YouTube shit for a long time. Yeah. It's been fun. And I hope you guys have a good night wherever you are on planet Earth. I'm going to get these up and edited over on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there. Can you imagine giving me $1? Holy cow. But then we'll get it up on YouTube Have you guys been to that website? Have you heard about this? It's at 9 p.m. EST. Every Monday and Thursday I put out a video. So tomorrow will be Thursday already. Oh my gosh, Thursday. We're going to be drinking delicious drinks. So stick around for that. Otherwise, guys, have a great night. Follow me on Instagram at letsread.official to look at my sick-ass Umbreon I pulled out of a Pokemon pack earlier today. And after this, I'm going to post a picture of Pradeep because, God, he's such an angel. I love him, and I hope he lives for 9,000 years. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. I'll see you probably this weekend for some bonus content. Okay. Adios.